A very warm welcome to everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here today. My name is Tony Tokunbo Eteka Fernandez. I'm a published writer, corporate MC, mentor, broadcaster, and ambassador for peace for the Universal Peace Federation. I also organize the Black History Month celebrations at the UK House of Parliament ever since 2013. And it's such a pleasure to have you all here today as we celebrate our very first ever Global Speaking Summit 2025, which is going to be the first of many summits which celebrate great community leaders, bold storytellers, global thought leaders, and people who make a difference in coming together for the common purpose of speaking with purpose, passion, and power. So like I said, today is going to be one of many annual celebrations. We started here in West Yorkshire 4 weeks ago, and we plan to move out to Manchester, London, other parts of the country. Today, we're also going to celebrate our amazing students. We've taken them through a journey for the past 4 or 5 weeks. It's been quite a fearful journey for some of them, but it's turned out to be a very profound and interesting journey. But we also have guest speakers today, 5 to 6 guest speakers here today, who I'm very proud of, who are making a big difference to people's lives around the world. So just a few house rules for you this evening. For all our guest speakers and for all our students, your cameras need to be on throughout the whole session. That's the first thing. The second thing also is that you always need to be on mute to avoid any distractions. And finally is that we always have the chat box on for you to share thoughts, ideas, collaborate, network. And as we introduce our guest speakers as well, we'll also devote some time where they can tell us about themselves, their initiatives, and how you can connect with them. So it's lovely to have all of you today in our midst. Without wasting much time, we're very, very economical with time. We're gonna bring on our first guest speaker for this evening. He's my cousin, and we have to bring him in first because he's all the way in the United States, the time difference. He's got big commitments this evening. His name is Coach Wayne Dawson, inspirational speaker, profound podcaster, has a strong interest in Black men's health, and he's also a Pan-Africanist. So I'm proud to have him here today, and please feel free to connect with him afterwards as well. It's all about celebrating our journeys together. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Coach Wayne Dawson, VIP. Thank you. I think you are on mute, so I'll just unmute you. Or if you can unmute yourself. Okay, just bear with me a few seconds. We're trying to.
Okay, I think I should be good. Can you hear me?
We can hear you clearly.
All righty, just let me then. Give me a quick second. All right, let me start back by saying good night to those of you in the UK and elsewhere. It is mid-afternoon here in sunny Florida in the USA. and it is indeed a pleasure to be with you. Let us get right into it. Every time you open your mouth to speak, you're striking a match. The question is, does it flicker out or does it ignite something unforgettable? Because whether you're speaking to one person or 1,000, you're just giving words. You're not just giving words, but what you're doing, in fact, is you're setting a fire. And today, I want to show you the 4 elements of that fire that I call the spark, the fuel, the flame, and the warmth. And I'm not just here to explain them to you. You're going to see them, to feel them, and remember them. Are you ready with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's picture this. You're standing in front of a room filled with people. People are waiting, and you are in the wings. It's your time. Some of these folks are slouched back. Some are scrolling on their phones. And it's your turn. Your heart is pounding, and you are sweating in the palms and in the pits of your arm. You open your mouth, and the words tumble out. You fill in the space with data, facts, and information. You look around the room, and you sense that the air is cold, lifeless. The fire has not been lit. So you stop, you pause, take a deep breath, and then you strike the spark. You say, I know what it feels like when you want to give up. I know the fear of standing right here and hoping that your voice doesn't fail you. And maybe you have felt that too. And just like that, heads tilt, eyes lock in with you. You've sparked emotion. That's the spark, ladies and gentlemen. The connection, the heart, the fire has begun. But a spark alone, my friends, is not enough. What keeps it alive is the fuel. And so you give them something to burn. You did say something to burn, Wayne. Yes, I did. You know, you give the public something to burn. It is said that in America, the #1 fear, beyond the fear of snake, beyond the fear of heights, is public speaking. But here's the truth. Did I lose you guys? I see that I'm on mute. Tony, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, but here's the truth. The very fear that freezes us can be trained to give us courage. And I have seen it, I have lived it, and so can you. Now, you're just not igniting feelings, you're feeding them with proof, insight, evidence. That's the fuel, my friends. Knowledge that convinces your audience. And then it's time for the flame to be released. And you know what the flame is? The flame is about leaning in and saying, here's my challenge to you. Before today, I want you to start thinking about moving beyond your last failure and the lesson that it gave you. You command them to take action. You have them take action by writing something down. You allow them to release it and to share it and to use it to light the path. This is what this actual flame is about. And in that moment, the fire spreads. People are writing and they're beginning to nod. That's the flame, my friends. The call to action that leaps from you to them. And finally, you leave with the warmth. And the warmth is about slowing down the voice, softening your tone, and saying, I honor you, I thank you, and I want you to know this. You are not alone in your story. Together, we rise higher, stronger, brighter. And when you say it, the room just glows, not just with information, but with humanity, with touch, with the heart. That's the warmth, the part of the fire that lingers long after the flame has been extinguished. So right there, you just experienced it, the 4 elements of fire. The spark, which is your emotional connection. Every time you get up to speak, you begin by connecting with the heart, the spark. And then you add the fuel, which is your knowledge. What makes you the expert? How do you connect in terms of the headspace? That's the heart. That's the fuel. And then there's the flame, the call to action, or the hand. What are you calling folks to do? What action do you want them to derive from speaking and listening in your audience? And then finally, there's the warmth. The warmth is leaving them with some grace and empathy. The warmth is making sure that people are connecting again with the heart as you move on from your speech, whatever it is. And this is what storytelling is about, weaving these all together. Your story isn't just something that leaves your mouth. It's about igniting someone from within. So the next time you speak, remember, my friends, you're not just presenting, you're setting a fire. Ignite the spark, add the fuel, release the flame, and leave with warmth. Because people may forget your slides. They may forget your bullet points, but they will never forget the fire you lit in them and how it made them feel. And I thank you, my friends.
Thank you so much, Cos. That was wonderful. That was so profound. I'm sure we're going to have questions for you at the end. But before then, can you just tell all our listeners around the world a bit about yourself and your background, the services you provide, and how people can reach you?
Yeah, so I fired corporate America about 4 years ago, right after COVID, and decided to full-time work as an entrepreneur, started my own company, VIP Transformative Living, where I focus on men of color, helping them to level up. I focus on midlife. I'm actually pivoting right now, Tony, so I've actually started opening my doors to women and couples. I actually have a couple in the UK that I'm working with. And so I do couples work. I'm working with ladies again. And I've always focused with men of color. And a quick history, as you can hear it, I am from Jamaica. I've lived in the United States now more than 4 decades, the majority of which I spent in New York, and recently followed my new bride. We celebrated 10 years on Sunday, Dr. Audrey Dawson, to Florida. So that's why I'm a transplant in Florida from New York. Tony, I do this work, and I left you a link. So if folks want to follow up in terms of the work that I do and coaching that I do around leveling up, if they're feeling a sense of uncertainty, if they're feeling stuck where they are and they just need some coaching to get them to their next level because they know that they're not enough right now, but they have the potential to be, then Tony, that link will allow them to get a quick bird's eye view of what I just presented, but also how to connect with me directly. Thank you for the opportunity, for the platform.
Thank you so much, and we continue to celebrate you as you continue to be the change we want to see in society. Coach Wayne Dawson there, his links are beneath. Also, feel free to connect with me if you want to collaborate with him in some initiatives. We have our next amazing guest speaker for this evening, a wonderful woman based here in Bradford, moved from London several years ago, just like me. First female Black president for the Chartered Institute of Housing. And she's also a social justice advocate, businesswoman. She's amazing. She's really, really amazing. Lara, it's so, so, so lovely to have you as you join us this evening. And the title of your speech is Apply, Apply, Apply. It's all about applying things in life. And I continue to celebrate your journey. So it's a pleasure to have you, Lara.
Thank you so much, Tony. And thank you for inviting me to be part of this today. And thank you very much, Wayne, for putting fire under my whatever. So I will try and match your energy. So applying is what I'm going to talk about today. And for those of you that have an interesting grasp of the English language, that word can mean different things in different contexts. So I'm going to start by asking a question. How many times have you seen an opportunity and thought, oh, I might really like to do that, but I'm not sure if I should go for it. I might not get it. They don't want someone like me. How many times have you talked yourself out of trying something? Think about that. How many times have you sabotaged yourself? So I want to tell you a few stories about me, and the word apply will come into many of these stories. So many years ago in the late 80s, yes, I know you're trying to work out how old I am, but I was alive in the late 80s. I found myself homeless. I was living in a bedsit. I went away on holiday and my landlord evicted me while I was away. So when I came back from holiday, all my very few worldly belongings were in a shopping trolley outside the building that I lived in. The locks had been changed and I literally had nowhere to go. I was about 18, 19. Yes, I know you're trying to work out how old I am. I am that old. So every day I was finding places to sleep, you know, bin sheds, back gardens, the bus station. And every single day I used to go to what was called the homeless persons unit and sign on every day to, I'm homeless, I need somewhere to live, you have to house me. And I never missed a day. Some days they would ignore me. Some days they would say, we haven't got anything for you. We've got a house for a family. You're a single woman. We can't help you. But luckily, after about 4 months, I finally got a flat. And that's, I think, believe the first time that I realized that persistence paid off. Because had I stopped going the first time or the second or the third time, maybe I might still be on the streets. Who knows? But I insisted and I never missed a day. So that experience taught me that you don't always get things because you deserve them. Sometimes you get things because you're persistent. Because I know I deserved the house on day one, but I didn't get it. Anyway, a few years later, I was at university. I went to university in Loughborough. And I stumbled across this grant that no one had applied for 5 years. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to apply for this, see what happens. And everyone said, well, no, the grant hadn't been issued for years, so we don't actually think the organization that giving the grant is still giving the grant. And I said, you know what, I'm going to apply and see what happens. Guess what? I applied, and off the back of this grant, I got to spend a year at Howard University in Washington, D.C., because that grant was to give a student an opportunity to study abroad. Now, in those days, we had Erasmus. Everybody could go to Europe. And I said, no, I want to do something different. So I got to go to Howard. I lived in Washington, D.C. for a year. I was a student there. And that grant paid my tuition, paid my travel, fed me. And I even got a $500 stipend every month as spending money. I mean, what are the chances of that happening? And I remember thinking, I'm just going to keep applying for stuff because it's great when you apply for things. So I'll tell you another story. So many, many years later, I've had a career in the social housing space, and I was working for a company called Pinnacle PSG. It's a private property management company. And I was so bored in my role, and I needed a challenge, and I wanted to move. And I was very clear that if I didn't move me, nobody was going to move me. So I started applying for roles. And I was looking for like head of department, junior, you know, associate director, assistant director roles. And I was applying and applying and applying. And I applied for about 35 roles in about 3-4 months. So literally every day I was applying for a job because I desperately needed to move. And I got some interviews. I interviewed for 20 roles and did not get the job, did not get a job from those 20 roles. So I'll tell you something about interviewing for 20 roles in 3 months. You become very comfortable at interviews. So one of the lessons I learned from that is the best way to be good at interviews is to go to interviews, because by interview number 11, I was not phased at all. And I knew that it was just a matter of time until I got the job that I was looking for. But guess what? Interview number 21 was not something that I was going to apply for. One of the agencies I was with said, Lara, I think you should go for this. You'll be fine. You've got all the skills. Go for this role. And it was for the role of a CEO, which wasn't on my radar because I thought I was going the traditional trajectory. It was time to be head of department or assistant director. So I went for this role, and guess what? I got it. I became the CEO off the back of an agency saying, Lara, you need to go for this. You've applied for too many of these jobs. Go for this one and see what happens. So I became the CEO of a housing association in 2006, off the back of spending the last 6 months of 2005 applying for roles that I didn't get, going home depressed because I was going for so many interviews. But I knew that if I didn't look for roles, the roles were not going to come and find me. So that's the power of persistence. And a lesson there is to be good at interviews, you need to do more interviews. And I'm not sure if Wayne actually said it this way, but to be better at public speaking, you need to do more public speaking. The more you do public speaking, the better you get. Practice makes perfect. There's a reason they said that. Anyway, years later in my career, which was like 3 years ago, I had a freelance career in the sector, and I saw an advert for my professional body, which is the Chartered Institute of Housing. That organization has been in existence for 109 years, and they've never had a Black female president. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to apply for this. I've got no chance of getting it, but I'm going to apply so I can put it on my list to say I did this. I'm not going to get it because I am not your traditional president. Most of the previous presidents have been white men, lots of white women, but never a Black woman. And also never a Black woman that was a freelancer. Most of the previous presidents were people who were running large organizations who were influential in the sector. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to apply every year until they get sick of me. Guess what? My first attempt, people voted for me and I got it. And I was like so shocked and honored, and, you know, one of the best experiences of my life. But what that did say to me also was that I found that in my sector, even though there's lots of Black and brown people in the sector, at the level that you are when you are president of a professional body, all that diversity disappears. I was constantly in rooms full of white men. And it's one of the reasons I've set up another thing that I'm doing on the side, which I call Housing Got Soul, which is a safe space for Black people in the sector. But I just wanted to put it out there that many of you may not know that Joe Biden became president of the United States on his 3rd attempt. So had he given up the first time or the second time, he may not have become president, but he did it the 3rd time. So don't stop applying if it's something that you really want. I'm almost done. I'm not sure what the time's like. So you will miss 100% of the opportunities that you don't take. However, the ones that you do apply for, if you're not successful, guess what? Nothing terrible is going to happen to you. No one's going to shoot you. You won't have lost anything. You'll be at the spot that you were at when you applied. You're not going to be any worse off, and you have nothing to lose. and you might actually learn something along the way. So give it a go. So the last thing I wanted to say, that applying is not just about forms and applications in the traditional sense. It's about applying what you have to offer. Apply what you have, what you know. So very recently, I've been, for those of you who know me in Bradford, I've been the interim manager of Hope Housing, which is the homelessness charity in the city that I'm on the board of. We have no CEO, so I've been running that organization. Thankfully, we have a CEO starting on Monday. I've been running Hope Housing, and what I found is that the experiences that I've had over the last 30 or so years, managing property, recruiting people working in governance, recruiting senior level executives, has helped me dealing with this, what was almost a bit of a chaotic situation when I walked in December. And what I'm saying is I've applied my expertise, my experience, but also my passion about resolving homelessness. Because if you listen to the stories that I've told you, my first story was that when I was young, I was homeless. And I've carried that passion about helping people to get affordable homes, resolve homelessness through my career. And now I am the chair of a homelessness charity, and I've been acting as CEO. So I've applied my experience and my knowledge. So what I'm saying is everybody's good at something and nobody is good at everything. So discover what brings you joy, what brings you energy, what do you like, and apply yourself to that. And don't waste time dwelling on the things that you cannot do. Life is way too short. Enjoy the things you do and focus, elaborate that joy, and make the world better for the people around you, and enjoy what you do. And if you don't like it, don't do it. Life is way too short. So the message I want from you to take away today is that success is not always guaranteed. The most successful person in the room, the most intelligent person in the room is not always the most successful person in the room. Look at Donald Trump. He's an idiot, but he's running an entire country and trying to kill all of us, okay? So being intelligent doesn't guarantee your success. It's what you do with what you know, how persistent you are, how consistent you are, and how focused you are. And I will end by saying, apply for opportunities. Even if you think you might not get it, you never know. If you're the only person that applies and no one else applies, you might get it, because that's what happened with our grants. Apply your skills, apply your knowledge, apply your passion, apply yourself fully. The more you do something, the better you become. The more you fail, the stronger you become. Success is closely linked with failure. I have failed so many times in my life, and people look at me and think I'm successful. Those two things are interconnected. So please don't forget my message to you today. If you see something, go get it. Don't hold yourself back. Don't talk yourself out of it. Apply, apply, and apply. And that's where I'll end my speech today. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Lara. So proud of you. Profound and overwhelming. For all our listeners around the world today, in case they want to reach out to you, collaborate with you, know more about your services, how can they reach you?
Okay, well, I spend a lot of time, well, I don't spend it as much time. It looks like I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, but I don't. I have a strategy on how I manage my LinkedIn profile. So I've just put my LinkedIn profile in the chat. So if you'd like to talk to me, connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you, Kemi, for saying wow, wow. The question you're going to ask, Tony, I'll answer it before you ask, is, so what do I do for a living when I'm not running the charity that I'm not meant to be running? I have 2 day jobs. One of them is property. I own property. I'm a landlord. I want to own more property. I'm in the process of buying property number 10, but my mission is to have 100. How I'm going to do it, I don't know, but I will. And the idea is that I use private finance to provide affordable homes for families. And so far, I'm getting there. And then my other day job, the one that gives me the most passion, the most joy, is running my business, which I call Black on Board. And the vision of Black on Board is to make sure there are more Black and brown faces in the boardrooms of the United Kingdom. So I train non-exec directors, board members, trustees, commissioners, and school governors. And I want everyone in this room to consider a career in the boardroom if you're not already in the boardroom. And if you are, encourage your friends and families to become board members. Boardrooms are predominantly full of white men, and apart from the government, apart from politicians, they make all the decisions that affect us, and we need to be around those tables. Thank you, Tony. That's me.
Thank you so much. We're so proud of you. So everyone, you've heard it. Global Speakers Summit 2025, here today, Thursday, the 28th of August. We've had 2 fantastic guest speakers so far. We have another 3. So it's going to be a wonderful, inspirational evening. But we're going to take a slight twist now, because I'm going to bring in Dr. Sohail Ahmed. The whole idea of this purposeful public speaking course was his idea, and he's put in so many years of research into it. So he's going to tell you why he set it up in the first place, why it's different, and why many people around the world need to take advantage of this great opportunity. And then once he speaks, we're going to bring in 2 of our speakers, first of all, and they're gonna show you what they're made of. They're going to show you the stuff they've made of and all the things they've learned in the last 4 weeks, with some inspirational stories. And then we're going to move on to our 3rd guest speaker. How does that sound, everyone? Beautiful. So put your hands together for Dr. Sohail Ahmed. Dr. Sohail Ahmed is the chairman of Bradford for Better organization here in Bradford. They've won the King's Award, National Diversity Awards winners as well. I work with him with Bradford for Better as well. And we've been working together for about 5-6 years now. I moved from London to Bradford 8 years ago. So it's been an amazing journey with him, and more amazing journeys to come. So Dr. Sohail Ahmed, over to you.
Thank you very much, Tony. Good evening, everyone. How are you all feeling? I've noticed today that Zoom's got this new react function. So you can put hearts on there, claps on there, hearts, love hearts, smiley faces. So please use them, not for me, but for our guest speakers and all the brilliant speakers we're going to have. So thank you to all the guests that have come on today. Thank you to all the people that are joining us today to witness all this event. And particular thanks to all our debut speakers, all those that had the courage and boldness, I guess, to take this challenge on, because it was the first edition of this course that we delivered. So I've had the pleasure of spending the last 8 weeks working with, I think it's 8 of them today. One person couldn't be here today. Amazing people. And it's been an absolute privilege and pleasure for myself and Tony to work with these brilliant people. And the reason is that from the first session that we had, we both knew that all these people that attended were actually natural speakers. They had stories to tell, they were passionate, they were authentic, and they had a vision, they had a story to tell. And it's been so easy for us because all we had to do was just encourage them. I don't think we really taught them anything, we just encouraged them and allowed them to shine. And today you're all going to see that. So it takes a lot to get on a stage and speak. So please do encourage everybody. There's a chat in there. Give your feedback, encourage people, connect with people, put out some reactions. I'm not going to make any big speeches because this night is about our debut speakers. I don't have a speech prepared. I'm going to let everybody else do the speaking and give us some wisdom. There's been 2 amazing speeches already. Wayne, thank you very much. And Lara, amazing as always, inspiring. And every single person speaking today, I can guarantee you, is inspiring, motivational, transformational. And that's what this is all about. Where did this whole idea came from? Just a bit of a personal story. I work as a doctor, medical doctor. I do a lot of work in well-being, health, healing, complementary therapies. It's a passion of mine. And what I've seen consistently is that there's a distinct connection between the ability to communicate, speak your purpose, and the ability to heal yourself. And it's strange, it might not be obvious, but I find that whenever there's illness, whenever there's imbalance, dis-ease of any form, there's always a connection to the person's ability to speak their truth. And I believe that the skill that you have in communication, the talent, the skill, the quality of the person's communication is the single most defining factor in your achievements in life, in any sector, in any sphere of life, whether it's healthcare, whether it's business, whether it's politics, housing, you name it, and your ability to communicate. From the foundation of relationships, with your spouse, with your children, with your friends, with your community, with the society at large, to your professional roles, everything requires communication. And it's no wonder that we are the only animals that actually speak with this fluency. Yes, animals communicate, birds sing, other animals do all sorts, but we are the one that have been given this gift of communication, to communicate with such intricacy, with so many languages, so many intonations. Yet most of us never, ever see it as the tool that it is and how it needs to be sharpened and how well it can be used to open all the doors in any field that you want to be in. So that's the mission. And when I've seen people suffering because of their inability to communicate for whatever reason, I thought, you know what, there's so many people out there I see here in our city in Bradford, and so many of them are here on this course with us that are doing such amazing work, and they're so inspirational. They're working so hard to achieve so much in this city and beyond globally, yet something's restricting them. And what is that? What is that restriction? It's their own perception or self-belief, limiting beliefs in their abilities to speak and communicate. And our job is just to unravel that, unleash that, and allow them to open their wings like a butterfly and fly and come out of that cocoon and be able to create that change and unleash their passion, their motivation, and become the transformational leaders that they are born to be. And that's why we're here. And I hope we've done some justice in some way to our attendees. And I hope you all enjoy this session. This is the beginning of many. I will share later on a link for all those interested to join this journey globally, internationally, to join us in this journey, enroll onto the next course, or just be involved in this to empower. And particularly we talk about, Lara's mentioned Black on Board, Wayne's talked about men's health, Black men's health. The BAME community, Black, Asian, minority, ethnic, there's a lot of inequality. And communication, public speaking, presence in the public domain is one of the huge, huge areas that we lack in, unfortunately. And we always talk about not having a voice, not being heard. Well, nobody from the outside is going to come and give us a voice. Everybody around us looks different to us. So if we want a voice out there, if we want to make the change, we have to stand up on the podium and make our voices heard. And the best way to do that is to refine our communication, refine our public speaking ability, and speak our truth and speak our purpose. And this is why we called it purpose-driven public speaking, because we want to speak with a purpose and make an impact and transform this globe and make it equal for all. That's my speech. I said I wasn't going to make a speech, but I just went on and on there. So I'm ready. I'm ready for everybody here to unleash themselves. So, Tony, what's happening next?
What's happening next is you sound like a president. Give him a hand of applause, please. See how naturally he flows. So you can see he has a PhD in public speaking, as well as a doctor. So that's Dr. Sohail Ahmed. Amazing. Now you know how it all started. And we're going to be sharing the form shortly. We have amazing, amazing guest speakers coming up next. But before then, we want to introduce you to two of our debut speakers now who are going to be speaking. The first one, his name is let me introduce you to Mr. Faisal Mohammed, born, bred, and educated in Bradford, studied structural engineering from the University of Bradford. So he's very, very, very passionate about engineering, and he's inspected so many sites. He's been involved in so many projects himself, and he's very passionate about storytelling. But his topic for this evening is titled Life is Short, so Believe in Yourself. Fazil, over to you.
Thank you very much for that, Tony. That was a very nice introduction there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. As my title is Life is Short, Believe in Yourself, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of information with you guys I've never shared with anyone before. So this is going to be the first time I'm sharing some very personal information. But I just want to start off by saying, guys, 75 summers, 75 autumns, 75 springs, 75 winters. That's all you've got. So what are you doing with your time? When you think about it that way, there's not a lot of time. My parents migrated to England in the 1970s in the belief of having a better life for me and my siblings who were not around then. So my parents were visionaries, couldn't read or write or speak English in a foreign country. The struggles and sacrifices they made to come here to make new roots is priceless. And it was that determination and belief that they had in taking that step to come here is the reason I am here today. Now, I am born, bred, and educated here in Bradford, from nursery all the way up to university level. I graduated as a civil and structural engineer. And when I graduated, I found it very difficult to get a job. I must have applied to about 70 jobs and I didn't get a single interview. And my downfall was that I didn't have any experience. But being fresh out of university, you won't have any experience anyway. So, but I kept going and I didn't have any luck in securing a job. At the time I was studying, I made some very pinnacle decisions at the age of 20. While studying, I set up a furniture business with my brother, and I was also working part-time in the evenings as well. And as I was doing this on a daily basis and seeing my parents go through the struggle and work into the late 60s, into retirement, I made a decision that I will not follow this life cycle, that I will become a millionaire by the age of 35. I will be fully retired by the age of 45. And I will do this not for me, but for my family, for my parents, and also for millions of people around the world. I decided I'm going to motivate, inspire, and help millions through the form of charity. And the wealthier I am, the more people I can help. And that was my aim, and that was my goal. And that's what drove me to making that decision at that age. And another decision I made at that age as well was I had two roads to go down. One road was the illegal road. Being from Bradford, I knew some very high caliber criminals. And being young, you tend to get persuaded and look at this as glorified life. And the other road was a legal road where it will take me much longer to get to where I need to be, but I won't need to look over my shoulder. And I decided I'm going to go down the legal road. So I never went down the dark road. And when I graduated, I had a family member who was in the industry of civil engineering and became very successful in the field. In fact, they took over a very, very profitable company and became the director of that company. I approached them for a job. They rejected me, but I never thought much of it. I thought I will approach them in a couple of months' time. I reapproached and got rejected again. I did it again and got rejected again. By the fourth time, I told myself that no matter how many times I asked them, they're not going to give me the job. And that was purely not because of my qualifications, just out of pure enviness. And I decided I'm never, ever going to ask them ever again. And I was devastated from that. That lived with me for years. Whenever it crossed my mind, I got very upset. And I thought my own family member wouldn't even give me a hand. So I carried on. I continued working. At the age 26, I met a very good friend through a mutual friend. We got to know each other. And it was at that time we set up a charity. And I remember sitting in his house, 3 o'clock in the morning, deciding on the name of the charity. We decided Purpose of Life was a fitting title. We decided on the logo. We decided on what our mission is going to be, how we're going to do it. And 11 years on, that charity now does millions in donations that come through and allow us to fund thousands of projects in the UK and abroad. And all that started from a belief between us two that was on paper and we brought to life. So I continued on. At the age of 30, I came across a job for a building inspector in Bradford. I thought, this is interesting, I'll go for this. I went for the interview, I failed. They told me you need to wait 6 months now before you come back for this job. So I waited 6 months. The job role came up again. I went for it again. I failed again. They said, you need to wait another 6 months now. So I waited again. A role came up again. I went again. The third time, the interviewers had had enough of me. And they said, Faisal, we like your grit. We like your tenacity. We're going to give you the job. And I secured that job. And funny enough, previous 2 times, the first person who got the job never turned up. The second time the person got the job, came for a few weeks and left. So I told the interviewers, I said, thank you for the job, but you do know you wasted nearly 2 years of my life because I would have stayed had you given me the job at the start. But nevertheless, I stayed in that job, continued, and I always had an open mind for opportunities and investments. And it was at 26th of January 2025, this year, at the age of 35, I reached a pinnacle target in my life, and I purchased and acquired my first property. And the first property I acquired was not just for myself, but I acquired it and I gifted it to my parents as a retirement home. And I remember on the day, I kept it quiet. Nobody knew a single thing, not my family, not my friends, nobody. I kept it fully quiet. And on the day, I told my parents and family who we were at the family house, I said, we're all going to go somewhere. I'd like you to follow me in your cars. So we all got into our cars, my brothers, their missus, my mom and dad, and we drove up to this beautiful, magnificent house, breathtaking, in the countryside, with a lovely drive. We drove in. I got out and opened up the gates to this beautiful driveway. We drove in. I got them all parked up, and I then announced to all of them, I said, congratulations to all of you and well done on your new house. And it was on that day I gave them the key to this beautiful property, a very old listed farm building in the countryside with a beautiful drive, beautiful gardens, is vegetation, a private orchard. And I said, this is all yours now. You live here, this is yours. And I would not be here if it wasn't for you guys. And that was all because I had a belief to make my parents proud. And I never would have thought from a young age that I will ever be in a position where I would be able to acquire such a beautiful property, but I did. And as we speak today, I have left my current job where I am and starting a new venture next week in freelancing, contracting, having acquired a new contract with a very high salary package that, again, I would never have imagined such a high salary package that I will be earning and making. And I don't say all of this to impress you, but I say this to impress upon you that if I can do it, then you guys can do it. And if there's ever been a belief in you guys and you've had an idea of a business or a venture or something you want to do, then now is the time to pursue that. Don't delay. Don't wait for approval from your neighbors or your family or anyone else. Any ideas that have come, they have come to you. And it is your responsibility to bring it to life. And like I said, time doesn't wait for nobody. So I say that and I'll leave that with you. And my final thing I would leave with you guys is never settle for average when you have greatness within. I'm Faisal Mohammed. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Faisal. That was completely amazing. We're really, really, really proud of you. And it's so refreshing that you left it to this minute to share those inspirational stories with the world. That shows so much humility, and we're very proud of you. I was going to ask you what message you have for all our listeners here today, but you've already shared that message, and you've just put everything down in 8 minutes. So many wonderful messages, and it's just beautiful to have you amongst us. If people want to reach you, contact you, find out more about your services, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so I will. I don't use LinkedIn much. I will be going on to it more now that I've started a new venture. So I'll leave my LinkedIn in there, but also I'll leave my other details on there as well for social media. So you'll be able to contact me.
Thank you so much.
Thank
God bless you. Now, before we bring on Dr. Sohail Ahmed again to introduce one of our wonderful, wonderful students, Sister Farzana, just to let you know, we also have another 3 guest speakers this evening. We have Mr. David Smith, chairman of the British African Business Alliance. He's been involved in so many business initiatives around the world. Many people in London call him the white Nigerian because he's traveled to nearly every state in Nigeria and he's always out there doing business as well. So he'll be coming on a bit later. We have my godfather here today, again, Mr. Aro Leonard, all the way in Nigeria. Profound gentleman behind TV and radio in Nigeria. And I'm sure he's been watching very, very keenly because he's going to be connecting some of you to some TV shows in Nigeria as well. As I said before, he's been one of my supporters for very, very many years in my journey in media, and I do not take it for granted 1 minute. Just to let you know, I will never take that for granted. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate you as a person. And we have also other guest speakers. I'm going to be talking about them a bit later. We also have Anthony Lane coming on a bit later as well, another guest speaker who has over 40 years experience in education, retired schoolmaster. He's also a voice coach, and he's written some books. He'll be talking a bit about those books he's written as well. So he's been also a very, very strong supporter of mine also over the years. Born in Bradford, but living in London. But he's always in Bradford, always here, like supporting our initiatives. So you're going to be hearing from him shortly. But without wasting much time, Dr. Sohail Ahmed, can you introduce our next guest speaker, who's such an amazing woman as well? Dr. Sohail?
Yes, sorry. Thank you very much, Faisal. Thank you. Amazing storytelling there, as always, one of our most charismatic speakers. Well done. Now, just another thing I noted, you mentioned LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, at some point, I'm going to ask, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So Lara here is an expert in LinkedIn. So at some point, we may do a session where Lara can introduce us to the benefits of LinkedIn. I think many of us don't use it as much as we should. I don't use it much. And I think, in the corporate sector, in the professional world, it's the place to be. So if anybody's interested, do reach out. And I'm sure Lara will support us on this. Yeah, thank you. So next up, we have Mrs. Farzana Shaheen, also known as Appa, which means sister, big sister, affectionately known as Appa in Bradford and beyond. And Appa here is a motherly figure to me, and an aunt, a role model for me. We actually met a number of years ago at a public speaking event, a course that we did together, 2018 or 19. And I was just blown away when I saw her. I thought, she's my mum's friend, same age as my mum. And I thought it's very rare, unfortunately, it's very rare to see Asian women of that generation to really go out there and be kind of so bold to take on these sort of courses and speak on the stage. And I was really, really impressed. And since then, we've been in touch and we've been friends. And I'm so honored to have her on this course with us. She has so many stories to tell. She's a teacher here in Bradford. She's a spiritual teacher, a holistic therapist. I don't even know the amount of things that she gets up to in her spare time. But most recently, she's had, I'll let her tell you about it, but she's had quite an awakening in her health and well-being through a transformative experience that she's had. So she is here to talk about that today and inspire you all. So welcome, Appa Farzana. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's good. And I don't know, my heart is beating fast. Normally, I don't be like this. I mean, I can speak in front of lots of people, but just talking in front of the phone, I don't know. I'm just feeling a bit, I'll be okay. Just take a deep breath. Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Sohail. I mean, introducing me like this. Thank you so much. Yes, we met one of public speaking course. We both, him and we both used to go together to Leeds. And over there, I found out he's my friend's son, which I didn't know. And then it made it easier for me. Then I would get lifted back with him. And then we did spend a lot of time together. It's been quite a long time, but what I'm going through, what happened now just recently, 10 weeks ago, my title is for the speech, today's talk is Health is Wealth. Health is Wealth. So 10 weeks ago, I was bedridden, feeling helpless and lifeless. In that moment, I realized my real wealth wasn't materialistic possessions, but my health. 2 years ago, I was living life, my dream life. I was happy, I was overflowing with energy, passion, purpose as an Islamic scholar, hypnotherapist, energy healer, Reiki master. I have passion to learn this holistic healing. So any course I hear and I'm there the first to assign, and I have passion to learn new sciences of healing. And I was thriving, I was really happy and everything was doing well. I was doing alongside, I was doing a clothing business. And I'm an Islamic scholar, so I've been teaching over 25 years. So my life was just busy like this. But what happened one day, I slipped. I slipped and my tailbone got cracked. And from there, my life totally changed. A person who's very busy, then it just come on a halt. It's a very difficult for that person to live life. And the tailbone is that part of place you can't put no plaster on. So I had to live with that strong pain for the whole year. Any little movement I used to make, screams would come out of my mouth. It was so weird. Just imagine living with a broken bone. If your bone is broken from your arm, they put the plaster on so you can't move your arm, and they guess, joined, the bone gets joined normally. But because it's in that place, they couldn't put no plaster on. So I was on high dose of painkillers, or doctor gave me these patches to put on. But for a whole year, I was living with the strong pain. Like I said, any little movement will hurt me. Then walking, sitting, laying down, I couldn't roll around. I couldn't travel, because when you're fit, you don't feel the humps and bumps. When you have broken bone, a little light, movement of the car, it would hurt you. So my life, as being so busy, it just went on halt. First year, I was going through the strong pain, and mentally, you just get so much, just living with the strong pain, your brain is always tensed. But the second year, it went worse. My mental health got affected. As a clinical hypnotherapist, I used to treat other people with the mental health, with depression, anxiety, panic attack. But at that time, when I used to treat people, I didn't know what is panic attack. I didn't know what is depression. I didn't know what is anxiety. What I've read in the book, I would treat patient like with that. But now, because I went through, if anybody says anxiety, I know what is anxiety is. If anybody says depression, I know what depression is. If anybody says panic attack, I know what panic attacks are. And God forbid, I don't want, it's a horrible, it's a very dark well. It's a very dark well. Going through anxiety, depression, because I've seen people, those were in there, and I didn't want to go in there. I did not want to go in there. I went straight to my doctor. Thank God, my husband, my son, they looked after me like a baby. My son, we used to have little Belle. Talking about her daily hurt, is something I never tell anybody. This is weakness to anybody. So I would just talk to my doctor and like this. Anyway, he had this bell in the stairs. Whenever I used to feel my panic attack is gonna hit, I would just ring the bell and he would come running, and he would take me to his bedroom, and I gave him this Surah Rahman to play whenever I have this anxiety or panic attack. So he put a headphone on me, and I would just go listening to that by sleep. Anyway, that's that story. I'll just finish that now. I wouldn't go into much detail, because day by day my health were getting worse, and because I'm an Islamic scholar, the only thing I was keep on doing was, it didn't stop with my classes. That would lift me out of my bed. I would teach my students. I had adult students, I had young students, and that kept me going. So on Friday, I used to have a ladies class, and they said, like they call me Abba, there's a event going on. Would you like to come? And I said, Betaji, I don't go anywhere. I don't go out of the house. I never used to use my phones. I never, talk to anybody. I just was in this closed box. But when things meant to change, it was the time. I think it was written for me. I got ready. I went to that event. When I went to the event, I was that weak. My student held my hand and she took me in the house. And I went and sat on the sofa on a corner, like weak and fragile. Few of my students were there. They were really excited to see me there. And I said, Beta ji, I'm really unwell. Please, you guys carry on. I'm, in the corner, I'm sitting, I'm listening to you, And over there, I saw 3 ladies. When the event started, and the event was about this product, plant-based organic food supplement. These ladies come on the stage, and one lady comes and she goes, oh, with this product, I lost 18 kg. Okay. Then she goes, oh, my diabetes reversed, my blood pressure reversed, my cholesterol reversed, my fatty liver reversed. And I'm looking at the lady's face, and I'm saying, am I hearing this right? Because you never hear anybody, illnesses are being reversed, tablets are coming off. Because what we learned in life is so far, what we've been programmed with, we get ill, we go to doctor, we get tablet, and we have to take those tablets rest of our life. That's the way our beliefs are, that's the way we live. And one lady goes, the second comes. Then she says, my fibromyalgia gone, my anxiety went, my depression went. And I go, okay. And then third comes, same story is there. And like I said, when I went, I couldn't walk. And the lady, she gave me 1 cup, the product they sell. So she gave me a tea with that 1 cup. Because I was feeling so low, so energy was so low. I took 1 cup and I felt something's going in my body. And I felt slightly energy going in my body. And on that moment, there and then, I decided, if these ladies can get better with this product, I can get better. And when I'm going to get better, I'm going to help everyone to get better. At that time, I never thought, I'm so ill. Does this product work or not? Does it have side effect or not? I never thought of it in a negative way. And then I took the decision and I joined the business. I came back, I didn't tell my family. I started taking the product. And in 3 weeks, my 12 tablets came off. My anxiety tablets came off. My panic tablets came off. My two diabetes tablets came off. And now this is my 11th week, and I've touched nearly over 200 people's life who are living healthier now and happier. I'm changing people's life. My passion is because I'm spreading awareness. I feel like I wish I get this mic and I can just tell people that you can get better. You can come off tablets. Your illness can be reversed. Why we get ill? The reason is our foods are not organic. They are processed. In UK, from January to December, we get same vegetable, same size, same taste, all year around, but they are not organic. I've seen the size of the cucumbers, I've seen the size of fruits, they are not organic. So our body is not getting nourishments, our body is not getting vitamins, our body is not getting minerals. Our organs get weak and we get ill. So this is my new life now, my passion. And I feel so, you get so much inner satisfaction as well. When I check my phone, maybe after an hour or 2 hours, there's a message there, a lovely message. A lady, I'll just tell you 1 or 2 ladies' reviews. One lady who would stay in her bed until 3 or 4 o'clock. She was so ill, going through depression, anxiety, body weakness or illness. She would just go down to kitchen, make her whatever little food, and she'll just stays in a bedroom. Now this lady taking this product, now she sent me videos. She's walking in countryside. She never used to go out of the house to go throw the rubbish in the bin. She had the fear, she had the phobia. But now this lady is walking today she sent a video, she's going to a parlor, to get her hair done. So basically this is what I'm doing. And I won't take long. I think I've taken long enough. I'll just end this with my speech with this quote. It's by Zig Ziglar. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. If I didn't believe at that time with positivity that this product will not work, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't change our 200 people's lives. So I just believed in the moment, took the step, and believed in me, and worked with positivity, have positive mindset. And I feel day by day, I feel healthier, happier, fitter. Before, when I used to be ill, I used to be bad. I used to be knocked out. My grandchildren would come, they'll give me a kiss and they're gone. I didn't know. But now I'm healthier now. So now when they come, I can enjoy time with them. I do special baking for them. I play with them, you know, I spend time with them. So quality of life is better. So I'm enjoying my life, and just to pray for me. I stay on my mission and help. My mission is to help 1 million lives, inshallah. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, and well done for that. You and our prayers and you and our thoughts as well. And thank you also for the impact you're making and the legacies you're creating, and we love you. So well done. Please give her a hand of applause.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm quite spontaneous. So I think we're going to have a slight twist to this program this evening. So I was going to bring on a next debut speaker, but I think, no, I'll bring on our next guest speaker now. His name is Mr. David Smith. He is the chairman of the British African Business Alliance. And he's going to talk about timing, the importance of timing as part of public speaking. But he's also going to talk at the end about some of the initiatives he has and the great collaborations he has around the world, which you could plug into as well. David Smith, it's a pleasure to have you. And it's over to you, please.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you also for the opportunity to speak and share this evening. My name is David, and I work at Baba, and I do speaking in public a lot, which I now enjoy. And my theme this evening is it's all about time. For many years, I stepped away from speaking in public. I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't want to do it. And so I stepped backwards instead of stepping forwards. I was frightened. And when you fear speaking, you fear a lot more than opening your mouth. So my message to you would be, try not to worry. So this evening, I'm going to try and speak for 7 minutes, and we'll just see how that goes. And taking my theme, it's all about time, there are 3 aspects of time that I want to talk about. Timing. If you listen to a comic will use timing. An actor will use timing. A newsreader will use timing. And the second thing I'd like to touch on is take time to express yourself. Think about the language that you're using. Think about the words and the color that you can bring to your presentation through your choice of language. And most importantly, how you need to allow people to take time to understand what it is that you're really trying to say. So my objective really is to explain how time, space, and silence work best for you when you're speaking in public. When it comes to timing, something that people often forget, they're so wrapped up in what they want to say, they haven't thought about whether now is the right time to say it. Is your audience ready? You might want to talk to your boss about your salary. Is now the right time? Is your boss ready to talk to you about your salary? These are things that you need to prepare for as you work through your presentation at whatever stage. How you say what you say, the meaning and the balance between the words and spaces are also critical elements in getting your message across. And I think the other thing about timing that none of us can control is when things are out of control. And I'm sure that Lara has had to deal with these sorts of situations on a number of occasions where suddenly she's in the spotlight. The television cameras are there. The radio reporters are there. They're asking the questions. What are you doing about this? How are you dealing with that? And that's a situation where it's time to take command. So when you sit down and you say, well, I'm going to give a presentation, I'm going to talk in public about X, Y, or Z, you need to think about those aspects of timing and how you build that into your presentation. The second thing I said was to take time to express yourself. So you need your planning. What is it that you want to say? And how do you find the right language? Obviously, you'll have your own attitude, your own spirit, your own drive that will color the way in which you present yourself. When you listen to a playwright, perhaps Shakespeare, and you listen to the rhythm and the meaning of his words, how do you build that into what you're saying for yourself? You may not choose Shakespeare as a mentor. You might have other people who you admire. But I think that the rhythm of your presentation is vitally important. And to have rhythm, you need to take time. And if you're not sure you've got the right words, something I absolutely hated was my first serious public speaking course where they recorded me on video. And in recording me on video, they created one of those wonderful VHS tapes for me to keep and treasure for many years, which illustrated just how badly I presented myself. With a phone, you can record yourself. You can listen to your own use of language. And if you allow yourself time, you can then adapt your text to better suit your audience, better suit what you want to express. The third element that I wanted to concentrate on was time to let people understand. Avoid the rush. And one of the things that has impressed me today is that in all the speakers so far, I haven't noticed a single In one of the public speaking courses I did, you were given 7 minutes to speak, and someone counted your ums, and someone timed you, and someone else commented on your use of language. And you very quickly get into the habit of taking a pause, allowing a space, and using that instead of an You don't need an And don't rush, and don't use too many words. Too many words can obscure your meaning. I think one of the other things to bear in mind is people receive communication in different ways. If you slouch, if you're leaning on your hand and you're talking like this, your message is going to be obscured. The words that you use, the use of pictures, the use of charts, the use of figures that wake people up. I used a figure on Thursday. I was in Harare in Zimbabwe, and I was able to share with them that on the basis of GDP per head, they were 40% above sub-Saharan Africa as a whole. And I don't think anybody had looked at their economy like that. And certainly no one had told them about it. And I wouldn't mind being told that our economy was 40% above our neighbours in Europe. We got a bit more work to do than that. The other aspect of public speaking is the use of humour. And making people laugh is an art. You need to know your subject. You need to know your audience. And how many people have cringed at the wedding speech where someone says something that is just so totally inappropriate that they haven't sat, they haven't taken the time, they haven't recognized the understanding that people would take from the use of that particular word or that particular phrase or that particular joke. So when you're thinking about your presentation, my summary would be, take your time, make your time, use your time. And I'd like to give a little story because you will like stories. The worst speaking experience I ever witnessed was the captain of the hockey club in Tunbridge Wells, who joined our speaking class. Other speaking classes are available, who joined our speaking class to prepare for his captain's speech at the annual dinner. And he gave us 7 minutes of slow, laborious silences as he struggled to put together any meaningful message. 3 months later, as a result of the course, the people taking the course with him, the environment in which he was being offered the opportunity to learn, he became a very, very confident speaker and made a brilliant speech when it came to the club dinner, the end of the season. I don't know how close I was to 7 minutes, Tony, but that was my best effort.
Thank you so much, Mr. David. Always lovely to see you and have you. For the benefit of everyone at today's summit, can you just tell them a bit about yourself, your background, and also the services you provide so that they can plug into your services, but most importantly, how they can reach you?
Okay. I'll put my details into the chat so you can pick it up from there. My boss gave me a problem one day. He said, David, you're head of marketing. Go out and meet Ugandans. And I thought to myself, well, this is going to be easy. I'll just go to the Ugandan High Commission. So I went to the High Commission. I said, do you have a Chamber of Commerce? They said, no. I said, do you have a database of Ugandan business people that I could contact? They said, no. And so I found myself standing on the streets of London wondering which of these gentlemen from Africa is Ugandan. And it's an interesting question, because wherever you come from, whatever your heritage is, you represent a country, you represent a community, you represent a village, perhaps. And how does a UK company get in touch with your village? They need to do it through you. If your village is in Uganda, I needed to reach them through you. And so what I've done over the course of the last 20 years is get to know the African diaspora in the UK. And I've reached out to business leaders in that diaspora through networks that we're establishing around the country to drive projects that create wealth in Africa. People ask me about what I do in the Caribbean. I like to go on holiday in the Caribbean, but I don't see that conversation as the same as the development conversation in Africa. There are aspects that are similar. But what we are really looking at is how do we encourage UK businesses that have no interest in going to Africa to make their products available through Africans in the UK to drive business opportunities on the continent. The shocking figure I gave you earlier is $1,620. That is the average GDP per head for sub-Saharan Africa. Here in the UK, all of us together contribute to an economy that is generating just over $50,000 per head. World average is 13,600. Zimbabwe sits at 2,600. When you look at the world like that, you begin to appreciate the equality issues. We need to sell more overseas, and so our work is about selling more overseas and developing wealth in Africa, which is where we need to concentrate on developing wealth. Some of you will have other places that you would like to concentrate on, and you're welcome to concentrate on those as well. But we're concentrating on Africa.
Thank you so much, David. Feel free to connect with him, chairman of the British African Business Alliance, doing his part. Now we're going to have two of our next debut speakers come on now. I can see their faces. They're looking anxious. They're looking excited. And they're looking passionate. So I'd like to introduce you, first of all, to Farhana Pandor, who is an accountant. She's a financial controller. She's a proud Muslim woman. She's a mother. She believes in making a difference to people's lives around. And she gives advice about how to manage your money as well. She also believes in holistic development. And the title of her speech this evening is God Created Us Free, Confronting Oppression in All Forms. Farhana, we've been chatting for quite a few weeks now. You're looking relaxed, and I'm proud of what you are going to say and what you're going to promote. I'm also very proud of Inayah, who is going to come on next after you as well. So Farhana, the floor is yours. Originally, well, born here in the UK, but of South African and Indian heritage. Farhana, over to you.
Thank you, Tony. I'm going to start off with asking the audience a question, which is, have you all ever felt powerless in your lives? Have you ever had a situation or periods of time in your life where there was nothing that you could do? The title of my speech, God Created Us Free, Confronting Oppression in all its forms. Now, when I say God created us free, what do I mean by this? So I'm a Muslim, and I believe that my religion, Islam, is a perfect religion, but it's the Muslims and the humans that are not. Now, God created angels. Like many religions, Islam believes in the concept of angels. God created angels for specific purposes, and he created humans with free will and the freedom to choose. So freedom is a God-given right, and it is a basic human right. What is oppression? So oppression is to crush. It's to dominate. It's when an individual, group, or nation has an unfair advantage of another individual, group, or nation. Oppression is evil. It is unacceptable, and it occurs in all walks of life. Oppression can be taking place next door to you, within homes, within family dynamics, in the context of relationships. It also takes place globally, with the severest form of oppression taking place in Palestine at the moment with the genocide. You have political oppression, economic oppression. Oppression can come in psychological forms, emotional, physical forms. You have domestic abuse, and just to reiterate, many, many forms of oppression everywhere. I have a personal story when it comes to oppression. I have been oppressed. There has been times where I have been told what I could wear, what colors I should wear, what colors I shouldn't wear, how long or short my hair can be, whether or not I'm able to visit my grandparents' house, which is just across the road at the time where I was living. I have been told the frequency of how often I can visit my parents or friends, whether I can work or not, whether I'm able to go to town on my own. I needed to be chaperoned. I have also been oppressed in not blatant ways, but ways in which was unexplainable and something systematic was going on. I recall a period of time where I was at the peak of my oppression, where I looked out of the window and I was looking out into the street, and I had no one to call out to at that time. I was thinking, who is going to understand me? How shall I explain what's going on? And the only being that I could reach out to at the time was God himself. And I prayed to God. I said, God, please take me out of this situation. Please give me relief from how caged and trapped I am feeling right now. And he did. So what I'm saying is that oppression, the themes of oppression are the same. So there's lots of types of oppression, however, the themes are the same. And my call to action to the individuals and to all of us here is that from my religious teaching, we are told that if we see evil or if we see badness, oppression, we should try and stop it with our hands if we are physically able to do so. If we cannot change things with our hands, then we should do it with our voices, in our speech, and raise awareness. And even if we are not able to do that and use our voices, then we should, at the very least, abhor it from our hearts. And another teaching that I take from my religion, which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has said, or to the nearest meaning, is that there is no veil between the prayer of an oppressed individual and God himself. And this gives me comfort because my oppression ended. I am living proof that it's been 3 years since I am free of all the different types of oppression that's taken place in my life. And I hope that gives people that are going through the same thing, whether in the context of relationships, like I have done, or the workplace, or any other forms of oppression, that gives you comfort that it will end. And finally, as a woman of faith, if the oppression does not end in this world, it will surely end in the next, because God is very just and karma will get perpetrators and the oppressors. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Farhana. That was wonderful. You're looking very relaxed this evening. And yeah, always speaking from the heart. So well done. I'm proud of all our speakers this evening, our student speakers, and I'm proud of the ones who are going to come on afterwards. But Farhana, for the benefit of all our listeners today, who want to know more about the services you provide for finances, can you tell them a bit about them and how they can reach you in case they want to tap into that?
Thank you, Tony. Thanks again. So I am a fractional financial controller and I provide self-employed accountancy services, which I'm looking to scale up. So I am on both LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm quite active on both LinkedIn and Facebook. I've also just recently gotten into, I can't really confirm anything, but basically I'm doing some voluntary work, hopefully becoming a trustee for a charitable company, which I cannot disclose at this current time. But things are looking exciting and hopefully I can share more details of the charity over LinkedIn in the next few months once things are confirmed. In addition to this, I am therefore gaining experience in the finances of charitable sectors. I know there's very many of you today here that have organizations, charitable organizations. So I'm excited to see, maybe I can support you sometime in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we're proud of you. Keep shining. Well done. Everyone, do let us know if you want a short break soon as well. As we wrap up this evening, just drop a message on the chat box. We have our next amazing debut student speaker this evening. Her name is Inayah, very well known in Bradford. She set up the organization called Bradford for Better, and she's passionate about creating legacies in Bradford and beyond. She's also an activist, a teacher, a role model, a community leader, born and bred in Bradford, making Bradford and other regions a better place. And the title of her speech this evening, which is also going to be 7 to 8 minutes on the dot, is From Struggle to Strength, How My Father's Spirit Ignited the Spirit in Me to Set Up Bradford for Better organization. Inayah, lovely to see you. And it's over to you. And you're looking relaxed.
Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for the warm welcome. And I must say to everyone that you've inspired me. Each of you have been absolutely amazing. It's been entertaining, it's been inspiring, and it's been wonderful listening to you. Right, okay, so I'll begin. I'm going to share a secret with you, actually. I'm going to be open and honest. I actually planned, you can see this, I was going to read from a script because I was just worried that I might, as David said, I might start umming and saying the wrong words, but I'm just going to go with the flow, and I'm going to give myself the permission to accept that I may not be perfect, and that is okay. So, okay, I'm going to share with you something very precious and dear to me, something well, my story starts off with, like Tony said, I've always wanted to leave a legacy behind, and that starts from the beginning. I'm glad to say that not many of my relatives are here, so I'm going to be open and honest with you, and I'm going to share with you why and how, the reason behind why I started Bradford for Better, and it starts from the beginning. I was born and raised in Bradford. I was born to a family that originated from Pakistan, and the reason why I'm sharing this with you is not to undermine any family member, and it's also not to share and not to feel like a victim or anything. I just want to inspire you. So I was born in Bradford, and I was the third daughter to my family. And unfortunately, I was an unwanted child. So from a very young age, actually from birth, I wasn't given a name. My name was given, and the name that I was given, my birth name, was given to me by a stranger who came to visit my father, and it was a boy's name because my mother was very desperate to have another son. So I was given a boy's name, and from a very young age, I could feel that, I wasn't wanted, and I was constantly seeking for forgiveness. At the age of 5, I was betrothed, and from then on, I struggled with my childhood until I reached the age of 14. On my 14th birthday, it's known as Rukhsati, which means the day of marriage, that took place. It was in Britain, in England, and it was illegal. I was then shipped off to Pakistan, and that was my first kind of contact with another country. I couldn't adapt to this new life of being a wife at the age of 14 and living in this very alienated world. So I challenged. I was constantly rebelling. That's what I was told. I was rebelling against my culture, against my religion. But I wasn't rebelling. I was trying to fight off this this tradition that which was unacceptable. Anyway, I managed to, I returned to England, and I went through a very difficult time. I was imprisoned for about 2 years. I didn't see daylight because I dishonored my family. And then at the age of 18, I had my first child. I have an only daughter, and she was the reason why I started to become the person I am today. I'd left school at the age of 13, so I didn't have no GCSEs. And at the age of 27, I returned to education. I did my GCSEs within the first year. I left school at the age of 27 with 4 GCSEs, and I continued to learn. I just embraced this new life, and I discovered aromatherapy. I did a diploma in aromatherapy, and I became a very, very successful aromatherapist in 2000, where I delivered training across the UK. I created my own skincare range of products, and this is in 2000. So there was no such thing as organic products then, but I was on a mission to help as many people as I possibly could through natural healing, through nurturing them by introducing them to a new way of living, recycling, reducing waste, creating your own skincare products, creating your own eco-friendly products. I was making charcoal toothpaste in 2000. I know that many people have seen it on the shelves, but I was making natural body lotions and lots of things, but I couldn't actually stock any of my shelf products because I didn't have the confidence. So what I did was I started to teach people how to create their own range of skin and hair care products, but it didn't stop there. I still didn't feel content with my life because again, I didn't feel as though I was going to leave a legacy through making products. At the age of 38, I decided to leave my marital home, and my daughter was aged 18. She was studying dentistry, and I asked for her permission if I could leave because I had fulfilled my role as a mother. And she told me that to go, and that's what I did. I left a home where I had everything. I lived a very rich life. And I ended up in a house where I was sharing a room with my niece, and it was infested with mice and rats. But I didn't care because I was free. For the next 5 years of my life, my family ostracized me, so I never had any contact with any of my family members. And the most difficult part of my life, I believe, is loneliness, especially when you don't have anyone, a sister to ring, a brother to ring, someone to just go and have a cup of tea with. So the next 5 years, I struggled, but I persevered and I survived. Then I met my husband, and I embraced this new life, and I was looked after by my wonderful husband. And we used to walk the streets, and my husband is very passionate about Bradford as well. He was raised here. And I used to always say to him that I just feel so sad that why is it that people don't love Bradford like you and I do? And when will someone speak out about what's happening in Bradford? And he said to me, well, why don't you be that person and speak out? And I said to him that, do you think someone will listen to me? And he says, try it. And that's what I did. In 2019, I decided to set up a WhatsApp group and invite 17 people that I knew that were committed to Bradford. Never did I imagine what would happen next. Within 2 hours, that group grew from 17 to 179. And they said to me that we also feel the same about what you're doing, and we want to join you on this journey to make Bradford better. There's two reasons why I set up Bradford for Better. I also lost my father 2 years just before that, and I wanted to do something in his memory. So I started the street cleanup, and it was supposed to focus around Bradford 9. And like I said, I never imagined so many people coming on board. The street cleanup went beyond my expectation. It became a district-wide cleanup. So many masjids joined, so many schools, so many madrasas, so many people came on board. And some of them came on board because they knew my father. My father was a very charitable man, and he always used to say to me that try not to leave everything behind, try to give as much as you can before you leave. So I kept on remembering what he had done with his wealth. He gave most of it away. So I thought this is a good thing to do. Bradford for Better was born, and we had 4 core objectives. One of them was litter, the other one was drug dealing, the other one was late night use of fireworks, and the last one was dangerous driving. The next campaign was focusing on dangerous driving, and I stood outside. There was just 6 of us on the main roads, and this is something from a woman from my community would not do. She would not stand on a roadside with a banner campaigning against dangerous driving. Never again. I didn't expect what would happen next. We had so many people joining our Facebook page, and we had women who had the confidence to report quad bikers, illegal quad bikers. And from one of the reports that was made, an arrest was made, and one of them was one of the individuals they were a drug dealer. So I ended up in a situation where we were threatened. My family was threatened, and they were asking for £30,000 that they lost because of the arrest. That was quite a challenging time for me, but at the same time as receiving that threat, I was also infuriated because I felt, how dare they? We're doing something so wonderful. How can they threaten us? I continued with the support of my family and with police protection. We campaigned, and the campaign led to more people coming on board. COVID arrived, COVID hit, and we had to pause some of our work, but we supported those individuals who were struggling to leave their homes and to do shopping, or they were isolated. So, and we also helped BRI Hospital. We raised up to £110,000 worth of food items, drinks, and also personal care products for the GPs. We did lots of things. We did a makeover for an elderly person who was, again, he didn't have no family. We raised funds for pet rescue homes. They couldn't go out during COVID to fundraise, and we managed to raise up to £12,000 worth of pet food. The list is endless, but that for me was a legacy. Bradford for Better for me is a legacy, because I feel I'm so honored, and I'm so grateful to Tony and Yasser and Kashif and Sohail that they've continued what I started. Every time I see what they're introducing, my heart sends them endless du'as, and I'm so grateful that God gave me the opportunity to start something within the city that I love, and with people that I love, and that's me. Thank you. I hope I've done it within 8 minutes.
Thank you so much, Inayah. Very, very proud of you, as usual. And 2 things come to mind, and I've always said in the last 5 weeks to all our students that I'm so grateful that you have the capacity and the energy and the passion to be vulnerable enough to share your stories. And that's not a sign of weakness, that's a sign of strength. So thank you so much for that. The other thing is about creating legacies, and you continue to create legacies. And I'm sure that all of you this evening will agree that our students here this evening are creating legacies and continue to create legacies. We're going to quickly move on for Dr. Sohail Ahmed to introduce our next guest speaker. Her name is Urfana Ayub. She's an amazing lady. Her speech this evening is titled Passion Comes from Pain. Over to you, Dr. Sohail.
Thank you very much, Tony, and thank you, Inayah. A wonderful reminder of your journey, and very authentic, very vulnerable. I can't imagine what it takes for you to share these stories of your life and journey. And likewise, Farhana, it's oppression is awful, and it's so difficult to come out of the other side of it and be able to articulate to an audience. It takes a lot of courage. So well done. And as you can see, the sparks that you set off are still going. I'm the current chair of this organization, Bradford for Better, that was set up in 2019. And look what we moved on to. Initially started with 4 core objectives, as you said. And now we do everything: health and well-being, youth mentorship. This program, Purpose-Driven Public Speaking, stems from Bradford for Better. It's part of one of our projects. So how things are evolving in such an organic way. So thank you. Next, I hope you're all excited and you're all motivated. The wonderful speeches so far. We have so much more to come. I think Nana, Jabu, Mr. Aro, Leonie, Anthony, all the way from London. So many people yet to come, amazing speakers. So I have the pleasure of introducing Mrs. Urfana Ayub, who is also a very dear friend, a mother figure, and a real role model for me and inspiration for me personally as well. She's a lady, internationally known counselor, author, public speaker, a wonderful healer in many ways, specializes as a counselor in bereavement and many other things. I'm sure I'm missing some, but she has a beautiful public profile. I will share her website as well, and she has some videos on our YouTube on Bradford for Better. She kindly helped us through COVID, made such an impact during COVID by doing videos on health and well-being in the Urdu language, which is very rare to have these sort of videos in communities like Bradford. Mrs. Urfana had a tragedy which is really unimaginable. It's the worst nightmare for everybody, really, and that is to lose a child. And that tragedy became her transformation. And her passion came from that pain, and her journey of transformation and becoming an amazing author that is impacting thousands and thousands of people around the world through her words and her written words, spoken words. And she is here today to inspire us all. Thank you very much. And go ahead. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. And thank you very much for such a beautiful introduction. I will start with my quote, which is, "Your deepest pain can become your biggest strength." That's what I believe, and that's what actually gave me the strength to become a public speaker. And I've heard a lot of you, mashallah, beautiful real life stories. I think we all learn from real life stories, storytelling, and stories leaves messages which just stays with you. So I feel most of you who have shared their stories, they were very powerful because they were very natural, they were real, they connected to your hearts because you didn't plan and prepared a ritual, a very man-made speech there. You were all talking from your heart. And that was the reason it connected. It connected. And we all have stories. We all have our own life stories. Some like to share, some don't. It takes courage. And each and every one of you have shown the courage by sharing your story now. So for me, passion comes from pain, my title. My passion came from the loss of my 18 years old child. And the pain connected me to people. The pain connected, shared my message to the wider community. And I feel like all of us owe to our society. And if we share something in a very powerful, in a very genuine way, it actually can bring a big change. And we can all contribute to that change. We can all share our own responsibilities. I personally think that I became a public speaker because of the incident. Accidental and incidental speaker I am, because I never planned to be a public speaker. I've never done any training. I've never done any courses, but anything which comes from your heart, it actually reaches the person's heart. Because the pain, the tears, hasn't got any language, hasn't got any culture, hasn't got any color. We can all connect. We can all connect through pain. And I think my work, what I do is a counseling therapist. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure if you can hear all these fireworks outside my house. No, okay. Because it's literally, it's disturbing me. It's literally outside my house, and it's very annoying. So my pain generated my passion. And I feel like public speaking without passion and without a purpose is useless. If I speak and if I pass a message on to you, I feel like I've done my job. There was a purpose of my speech. There was a purpose of me speaking. There is a reason behind my speech. And we can all use our speech. We can all use our views. We can all use our strength to make that change, to pass that message on. So my son was 18 years old. Suddenly my life changed when it was a very sudden death. The pain helped me to use my emotions into writing, which made me an author. So I started writing, and my writing connected me to the world. My pain connected me, my loss connected me to the world. So I'm a counseling therapist. I see people with their pain, but I never knew what pain was. I think one of the speakers did share about what anxiety was and what depression was. And when we are working with people, we feel like, actually, yeah, we do know about this. But the truth is, we don't know the pain till we go through that pain. And all of you, I don't want to mention few names. I felt like all of you were talking from your heart, were talking from that pain what you've gone through. So my pain generated passion for me. And I realized that we all have strength, but we all need to look into us, find our own capabilities, find our own strengths and skills to benefit us and benefit others. And our pain can actually become the biggest strength. So it's changing the negative experience into the positive one, and take that candle to others. And you can help others by using your single candle so they can lit their own candles. I am conscious of the time, and I know that there are more people who are waiting, and we are also running a bit late. So thank you.
Thank you so much for this lovely Urfana. That was amazing. Very, very precise, and so many metaphors for me myself to take away this evening. So it really struck the chord of my heart, and I'm sure it struck the chord of so many people this evening. So thank you. Very relevant as well. But for the benefit of all our audiences today, can you just briefly tell them a bit about yourself, your background, the services you provide, and how they can connect with you?
Okay, so I'm a counseling therapist. I'm clinical supervisor. So I do take students who are studying to be a counselor. I do marriage couple counseling, and I'm a published author. So my books can be found on, there is a website. I hope Sohail can just share the link.
Please
so there's
do,
a
yes.
website where you can buy my books. And when I did my book, the purpose of my books was not only sharing my sad story, it's about sharing and giving hope to people. What I have lost, but what I have gained after losing my child, what have I gained from that experience? So the negative experience of my life has given me the strength, and all the money goes from those books to the charitable causes. So any organizations, any individual who are going through difficult times of bereavement, of relationship, of break, there are so many areas I've covered in my 3 books, and all my 3 books are in Urdu and English. So I am more than happy to donate to different organizations where they can raise money and benefit from the books. So the books can be bought from my website, and you can search me as a clinical supervisor, or you can search me as a counseling therapist by my name, Urfana Ayub, and you will find my different profiles and contact details to book therapy, or if you are studying, you can find me as a supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lovely to have you. We're honored and we're privileged. I know we're conscious of time, so we're going to quickly move on to our next guest speaker for the evening, all the way in Nigeria. He is Nigeria's go-to media and communication strategist. He's been working for BBC for many years. He is constantly creating legacies in Nigeria, in the media industry, in the TV industry, in the radio industry. And so it's a pleasure to have on board also the chairman of Cleverest, Mr. Aro Leonard.
Wow. Okay, the lights now. The light is an issue.
Yes, it's always an issue back home.
Mm-hmm. How will I do? Okay. Everybody, I'm a bit sorry. I had to step out of where I was. I'm actually on a journey, so I was somewhere. Trying to get this over with before I move, and I've just been told that I have to get to somewhere this night now before they close up. So I was on a move thinking I'll get there. I'm just a bit away, but I think we'll have to, make do a bit with this. So what I'm supposed to be talking about, unfortunately, you can't see my face very well. I'm trying to look for where I could get light. But what I'm supposed to talking about is about body language, especially in the African setting, and how it aids public speaking. We can see my face a bit now. I'm really sorry about that. Now, so the one thing I like to share is that if you look at body language and everything around it and what it does for you and all that. There's something people don't talk about. Now, I've been on a long trip, moved to different cities, training, standing and training and talking. So by the time I got to this certain location last week, I was exhausted, really tired. And naturally, if you stand to just speak and you're trying to train people and you're exhausted and they see it in you, they too get exhausted and they are not going to enjoy what you're trying to do. And so I stood up and started moving, gesticulating. If I'm saying something, I'm moving my hands just like I'm talking now. My hands moving, they are seeing my movement. And I woke up and I got energy from nowhere. The energy just came. It was just as if I wasn't exhausted anymore. I was gone. Mentally, I was gone, you know, but somehow just by moving, giving some signs here and there as I was talking, and the energy came back. And it was something else. And everybody awoken also. And it was just a great sign. And that is what body language could do to you. For those of us who have African parents, you grew up in African homes, you know, there are so many things that could happen. It just takes just one sign from your parents, and you know that either you're in trouble or you've done well. You know, it just moves things. It passes messages that you probably were not able to deliver. There are times from a lot of things the speakers have shared so far, you find out that there are times in your life where to say some words from the experiences we've heard, these are really wonderful and really touching and inspiring experiences. There are times where to say some things, if you say them using some words, it could be misinterpreted. It could turn to something else. But there are times where you just have an expression of your body. You just move in a certain way, you look in a certain way, you just make some expressions, and you find out that the person who is on the other side will just take some decisions, you know, based on that look without you saying it. And nothing could really be attributed to you that, oh, you said something or something, and things end up working in your favor. That's the power of body language. In the African setting, when speaking, we know that there are things around respect, around things that show that you belong to a community, even the way you dress, the way you move, and things like that. So the look, the way you look when you speak, how do you move? Do you stand in a certain way? You know, David was speaking about how you know, position yourself and things like that. It's always very important. So if you want to be a good public speaker, sometimes you need to think about these moves. What kind of moves would I make? How would I stand? What would I do, you know, to make the most impact that I want? And that's part of the importance of public speaking. Now, there are things it also does for you with regards your confidence. Okay, I'm trying to get a good position where I could be. I don't know how to get this. It's really not very bright out here, but I'm just sorry about that.
It's fine, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So, but I was talking about confidence. You know, there are times where you want to speak, like someone like me. I grew up not speaking, not talking to anybody until when I was in university. My parents still don't believe that I speak. They don't believe that I train. They don't believe that in the media space in Nigeria, I'm one of the most popular people that is not on air, you know, because of my regular interaction with a lot of people. And what has helped me over the years is my ability to express myself. Maybe because I used to rap in my head and watch a lot of cartoons. So I get those movements all the time in my head. And so I brought them out. So the moment I start expressing myself, moving, using my body language to speak for me, it started giving me confidence. It started helping me to speak. David talked about those arms and things you do all the time. And one thing that has helped me to stop doing that is when I move and demonstrate when I'm speaking with my body language. It helps me to even words that you naturally wouldn't pronounce very well, you know, some kind of gesticulation helps you to pronounce them very well. So it makes you appear confident. It makes you appear good. It makes the people you're speaking to respect and value you. And also, it also gives, also you need to be conscious of who you're talking to, where you're talking to, and how you express yourself when you're talking to such people. And personally, I interact with a lot of people. Let's say I have the widest media contact in Nigeria, and it's because with each person, I have been able to somehow develop some kind of body language that connects me with them, the way they are. To the ones that are elderly and all that, I know how to, you know, appear before them. The ones that, the trainees I have, my colleagues, I know how to appear before them. So it just gives you this kind of acceptance with people. And when you're free with people that way, your ability to speak, your ability to interact with them, your ability to pass messages, you know, end up becoming smooth. And that's the power of body language, especially in settings like this. In the UK, people are a bit more stiff, and you know, maybe that's what makes the UK English to be straight. You know what Trevor Noah said about what the Nigerian English does to the UK English. He puts a little bit of life in it. And that is because of the way we demonstrate, the way we use our body to also speak, to say what we say. And that's part of what makes it so exciting when a Nigerian speaks. It comes with all these kind of terms that you don't hear anywhere now. The whole world is trying to, you know, learn the Nigerian language. So that's something that body language does for us. Thank you very much. Once again, I apologize that I had to step out to rush somewhere. You know, I'm in Lagos, I'm in transit, I'm not in my house, just visiting somewhere. So I'm trying to get to where I have to crash for the night. And I was told that if I don't leave now, I won't get there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So proud of you, and amazing to see you this evening. And hope you have a smooth trip back to where you're going.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up later. And God bless you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, so that was Mr. Aro Leonard, based in Lagos, Nigeria. We'd like to bring on our next debut speaker now, student speaker, as we're slowly coming towards the end. She is based here in Bradford, proud lady for Malawi, an NHS community champion as well. She's been involved in so many initiatives as well and done a lot of voluntary work. And her title this evening for her speech is called Toy Swap. So Jabu, amazing to see you this evening. You're looking so calm as usual. So it's over to you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'd like to start by asking you all to close your eyes and visualize something with me. So please close your eyes. Imagine holding a box, a green box full of toys. Toys that you once played with when you were young. Toys belonging to your children, nieces, nephews. Take toys which were once so loved, fought over, carried everywhere. But now, forgotten. Now imagine there's a child in front of you. And imagine that you're handing this box full of toys to that child. In that box, there's Bob the Builder. In that box, there's some puzzles, all sorts of different kinds of toys. Now I want you to imagine as you hand over this box of toys to a child, I want you to see the big smile on that child's face. Imagine the sparkle in the child's eyes. Now you can open your eyes. So how many of you have perhaps a few toys, a number of toys in the closet, in a box somewhere, toys that you used to play with when you were young, and for years now, they've been forgotten. Toys that you used to fight over with your siblings. Perhaps you take that doll and run off and hide it somewhere because that was your treasure and you wanted to keep it that way. Now imagine that after years of the toy being forgotten, that you hand it over to a child and that toy or those toys become someone else's treasure. This is what Toy Swap is all about. As you know, we live in a world of consumerism. We buy and buy and buy some more. We buy toys for children. And as an uncle, perhaps for the little ones that you're in contact with, aunties, you love to spoil the kids, grandparents. But they just pile up. But imagine those toys becoming someone else's treasure. Imagine buying less of that. I want you to imagine something else for me, for you to bring it to reality. So I'll ask you to close your eyes again, please. I want you to imagine this time that it's a busy Saturday morning and you're at a community center. The place is busy, the doors open, and inside of that community center, it is buzzing with excitement, with energy, with excitement. You look around and there's so many parents. They come in with their little ones and they have bags full of toys. You scan across the room and you see shelves and tables full of those toys. They're nicely labeled, appropriate for different age groups. So as you scan your eyes across the room, I want you to see a little boy. So he's holding on to a little toy car that he's just found. He's so excited and he's pretending that the car is going really, really fast and then slow. Mommy, look. Now, a parent smiles across the room to another parent. Before you know it, the parents come together. They start talking, conversating, connecting. Imagine you're stood in the middle of that room and it is so busy. And you think to yourself, I wonder where this conversation is going to lead. Are the parents going to become friends? Are they going to exchange numbers and go on a play date? Are they going to advise each other on how best to look after the next generation? Now open your eyes again. So you ask, or you might ask, what is Toy Swap all about? Is it just about toys? What do you think? What do you think, Leonie? Nana, Faisal? Is it just about toys? No, if you think so, you're wrong. Toy swap is about the community. It is about saving money. Yes, we spend too much money on toys. It is about recycling, sustainability. Toy swap is about togetherness. So whether you're a single parent in a two-family household, you can always have someone to talk to, someone to get advice from. You don't have to do it alone. In fact, there's a saying that says, it takes a village to raise a child. So toy swap is about culture. It's about going to a place where you can find different toys from all parts of the world, Malawi, Uganda, Ethiopia, Thailand, toys that otherwise you'd have never come in contact with. And it's about passing the stories and the heritage of different people. It is about the kids getting off the screen. Oh, how I hate, I've got a child myself, she's 2.5. It is about getting them off the screen and giving them a better alternative. What's that alternative? The community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jabu. That was amazing, amazing, very smooth, lovely metaphors, lovely pauses. One of our amazing, amazing students this evening, out of the whole bunch. We're all proud of you, and keep up the amazing work you're doing. And if people want to connect with Jabu, feel free to connect with her also. That was so smooth. How can people reach you if they want to find out more about you?
Via LinkedIn. So it's Jabu Phiri, as my name is spelled on there.
Beautiful. We're proud of you. Okay, so we're going to quickly move on and bring on our next amazing student for the evening. Her name is Leonie Shaw-Brown. She is an accountant, inspirational speaker, community and legal advocate. She's also the director of Windwash Advocacy for Communities as well. And she has a very, very powerful metaphorical speech this evening. The power of voice from silence to advocacy. And she's based all the way in Manchester, originally from Jamaica, also a Pan-Africanist. And she's got her fingers in so many pies, you know. She's also quite humble about promoting the initiatives and stories she's shared around the world. But here is Leonie for you. Give her a hand of applause.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Can you all hear me? Yes. Thank you. It is a great honor for me to be here tonight to speak about not just my purpose, but my journey that led me to where I am today, and how I dedicate myself to the work that I do. I want to begin with a confession, and that is I did not always have a voice. People who knows me don't believe this, but I am telling you tonight that I did not always have a voice. I grew up in Jamaica, and I was a very shy girl. I struggled to speak up for myself. I often felt invisible, and there were times when I wish I was invisible, like my thoughts and feelings were locked away inside me, and sometimes silence felt safer than speaking. And for many years, I allowed the world to pass me over without hearing me. But I believe life has a way of preparing us for what we are called to do. I believe that life as a way of preparing us for our purpose. The girl who was once could not speak for herself has now become a woman who speaks and advocates not only for herself, but for others. Others whose voices have been silenced or overlooked or ignored. That transformation began when I left Jamaica at the age of 20 and moved to the United Kingdom. At the age of 22, I became a mother. And suddenly, silence was no longer an option for me. I had to have a voice because I had someone to protect, to provide for, to fight for. My daughter became my reason to push forward, even when life felt heavy. I am a woman of faith, and I believe that nothing in my life happened for by chance. That there's always a good reason or a purpose, even if that's not clear at the time. And tonight, I want to demonstrate this by sharing with you 3 incidents or 3 stories that happened in my life that were to shape and impact my journey that led me to my purpose and ultimately give me the voice I now have. The first story I'd like to share with you is that of my immigration journey. So I got to a stage in my immigration journey whereby I was given 28 days to leave the country. I needed to, or I would be deported. I had a caseworker who, when the tribunal came, said, you have no case to answer to, so I won't be representing you in court. But I believed in myself, and I know that I have a case to answer to. So I prepared my case, I turned up in court, and I represented myself. And I walked out of that court with my indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom. Feel free to applaud. Thank you. But still, the journey was not easy. I worked hard to build a career, training as an accountant, and then I landed my first job. I was a junior in my role, but I worked directly underneath my the chief executive. And I realized that she was giving me tasks that weren't a part of my job description. I had a good relationship with her. I never frowned, I never questioned. I just tried my very best to do these reports that she was asking me to write. And she would correct them, make little corrections to them, and then present them at board. And then eventually she weren't making any more corrections to my work. And then she wrote a thank you card for me one time. And she said to me, one day you will be the leader of an amazing organization. And we had a good little chuckle about this because I thought to myself, me being the leader of an organization, I can't even write these reports. But anyway, she spoke that over my life. The third thing I'd like to share with you was one day, after my daughter finished her first year in university, I was sitting at my desk when she told me that she could not get back her deposit for her first year rent. And I remember I challenged them and get her money back for her. And then I was sitting at my desk and I passed the assertion that maybe I should be a lawyer because I just won a case. And the following day, a colleague came to me with some prospectus from the Open University, slammed them down on my desk and said to me, do something about it. I heard what you said yesterday. 4 years later, I graduated with a Bachelor of Law degree. My personal story of resilience and perseverance brought me to a greater mission. How did I use those? How did those 3 incidences shape my life? In 2018, the Windrush scandal broke into mainstream media. And for those who don't know what the Windrush scandal is a cohort of people who came to the United Kingdom by the invitation of the United Kingdom government between 1948 to 1973 to rebuild the country after the war, found themselves being treated as illegal immigrants. They lost jobs, homes, access to healthcare, and were put in detentions, or deported, or were locked out of the country after going on holiday. When I learned of these injustices, I knew I could not stay silent. Silence had been my past, but it could not be in my presence. We put together a group of volunteers called Windrush Defenders and mobilized others to join, and we began assisting the victims of the scandal. There I was, using my skills I learned from doing my own immigration case. I assisted others to secure their legal status. A year later, the government opened up a compensation scheme for those who have suffered losses as a result of the scandal. And this gave me the opportunity to use my legal skills to assist the victims to claim compensation. I co-founded Windrush Defenders Legal and incorporated it as a community interest company. And through the company, we assisted hundreds of people to rectify their status, claim compensation, and most importantly, to regain their dignity. I also campaigned for law reform and policy change. So there I was, the director of an amazing organization. Today, I am the director of 2 amazing organizations. One, the Windrush Advocacy and Community Alliance, which was founded out of the work I did with Windrush Defenders. And 2, Women's Voices. Women's Voices help women, mostly from South Asia, to integrate into British society through advocacy and training. Now my speaking voice is not just mine. It carries the story of those who are silenced and don't get heard. It carries pain of injustice, but also the hope of change. So, what can my journey say to you today? I am hoping that my journey, after you've listened to it, that it will say to you, perseverance matters. I'm hoping that it will say to you, resilience is power. I'm hoping that you will see that you do not need a perfect path to have a powerful purpose. My life has been full of unexpected turns, delays, and struggles. But every step, every silent moment, every painful setback was preparing me for this purpose. My experience has taught me to never underestimate the power of one voice. I believe that one voice can challenge injustice. One voice can carry a community, and one voice can inspire others to rise. My voice did that. The shy girl who once could not speak has become a woman who refuses to be silent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leon. I don't really have to ask you how you feel. And when we spoke over the phone the weekend, even though you seemed unsure, your words to me is that, Tony, I'm going to smash it. And you've smashed it this evening. And just like all of our amazing speakers, you continue to create legacies. And I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of all our speakers this evening. And it's so refreshing to see everything ooze off, even from your body language. So well done to you, and proud of you always. So everyone, we're slowly coming to the end of this evening. We just have 2 more amazing speakers, and then we have our final guest speaker, who's also supported us in this journey as well. So our next speaker I'd like to introduce to you is a very inspirational lady based in Bradford, who's originally from Nigeria. She is a singer, a songwriter, she is a mother, she's a wife. She has her fingers in so many things, doing amazing things in Bradford. She's also a pastor, a psychotherapist. The list goes on. And her talk this evening is the life in the life of one I will never forget. And her name is Esther Osakwe, the amazing Esther Osakwe. Please give her a hand of applause. Over to you, Esther.
Thank you. The day in the life of one that I will never forget. Picture it. It's about 5 p.m. in the evening. I'm all alone in our 2-bedroom flat in Harbour Road, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. And all of a sudden, there's a very strong desire based off some news that I couldn't handle. And I don't want to be in this world anymore. Not only that, at that instant, I begin to take steps towards making this a reality. And that's when that moment happened. The day in the life of one that I will never forget. I heard very clearly, pretty much as you hear, for example, your own thoughts. You're probably thinking, oh, look at this lady, beautiful skin. I don't know, but you can hear your thoughts, right? I heard very clearly the words, Romans 6, verse 9. I kid you not. I was in the process of doing something that would have meant that I would not be here speaking to you, addressing you like I am right now. That I would have been in the place that we've met and heard so many stories. Many people are fighting for their health, fighting with the loss of loved ones. And yet I dared to do something terrible to myself because I couldn't handle pain. I couldn't handle disappointment. Romans 6:9. The Lord spoke. Romans chapter number 6, verse 9. So of course I stopped what I would have done. And I said, I'm intrigued. Let me check. What does this say? And I opened the Bible, and these words were written. It's simply quoted. I know it by heart. This is 2006 that this happened, by the way. So we're talking almost 20 years ago. And it said, because Christ died once, death no longer has dominion over him. Listen, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't just instrumental. That was a definite and a definitive moment for my life. So it meant for me that I don't have to be afraid of life or death. Death had no dominion over me. So basically what I was trying to do was pointless. I wasn't going to succeed in that endeavor. Because one thing Christ did for us, for those of us who believe in him, He broke that power of death because he died and he rose again. The only person in history to ever do that without a person praying for them. He just rose after the third day. That means that all our lives, many people are living subject to the fear of death. They're living in bondage. We even heard on this course how many people might not want to speak in front of people, especially even at a funeral. They prefer to be the one in the casket. We've heard in this course than to stand up in front of people. The fear of death has made many people to live such cultured, oppressed, sheltered, limited, and suffocating lives. The fear of what will people say? How will I be excluded? How will I be rejected? What will happen to me? They want to preserve themselves. Yet the scriptures tell us that if you want to keep your life, you will lose it. But if for his sake you lose your life, you will find it. We've learned from people like Faisal that want to serve other people. And by wanting to serve other people, they themselves are being served as well. For it is more blessed to give than to receive, our good Lord Jesus says. I want to tell you about that day that I will never forget. That God, you are looking at me and you are noticing what's happening in my life. Even when I'm about to sin against you and commit murder, even if it's by my own hand, you are still speaking to me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anyone who can hear my voice, God speaks. I know sometimes it might be like your own thoughts, but that's why we have the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures, to be able to know what is truth. Because when people go ahead and just hurt other people on the street, they say, a voice told me. Now, the Lord of love will never ask us to do that. He instead preserves life. That's why he gave his son. And that's the day in the life of one that I will never forget. And because I have time, I want to show you a simple song that I wrote. It's a call and response, okay? It goes like this. God hasn't given me the spirit of fear. And then you say, God hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, but a spirit of power, and a spirit of love, and a spirit of love, and a sound mind, and a sound mind. And we go, God hasn't given me the spirit of fear. God hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, and a spirit of love, and a sound mind, and a sound mind. And I want to just go ahead to wrap this up by saying, that spirit of fear that was broken through the realization that because Christ died, I no longer have to be afraid of death. It has no dominion over me. That spirit of fear has caused me to be crowned Miss Commonwealth of Africa. I had to swallow my doubts, walk in front of lots of people at London, a hotel in London, did a beauty pageant, got this crown. This no more spirit of fear is what led, when Tony met me, first of all, made me role model of the week, maybe one of the admins on one of his, or several of his WhatsApp pages, because that spirit of, when the spirit of fear is gone, what do you have? You have the audacity to live out loud. You have boldness that nobody can explain, you know? So I also got an Africa For You award. That same spirit of boldness that I now have, that spirit of life with abundance. Dr. Sohail, he handpicked me to run his campaign to keep Bradford clean. Don't Mess with Bradford campaign under the Bradford for Better banner. And in that same year, we were on television. We were on the front page Telegraph and Argus. I didn't go, but he went for us to Buckingham Palace. So I want to say to somebody, there's so many crowns just beneath that fear. Learn to live. Let go of the comfort zone. Stop staying where you're used to. Because on the other side of your fear might be a victory worth having. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's been ONE, and it's been amazing talking to you today. God bless.
Thank you so much, Esther. That was amazing, as usual. Free flow, smooth. I'm sure many of our listeners around the world are wondering, many of our speakers this evening should be our tutors instead, you know. So that's the quality of this evening. Keep up the amazing work, Esther. And if people want to reach you, tell them how they can reach you and the services you provide.
Awesome. So I am now a certified and qualified psychotherapist, also a pastor, like Tony mentioned. I've also authored a number of books, all of them available on Amazon. My company is Life Improvement Consults. And once you put that on Google, my phone number is there. My email address is there. We are registered CIC, and we're all about improving people's quality of life through education. So reach out to me any day, anytime. I'm here for you. God bless you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I know you have to rush. Keep shining, always proud of you. And we have one more amazing speaker for this evening. Her name is Nana Hagan, originally from Ghana, living here in Bradford. She's an international business strategist. She's also a visionary leader and the chairman and founder of several organizations like Short CIC, also passionate about empowering young men and women, has a huge network. She's also the founder of Inside View platform, promoting people's stories around the world as well. Also an Africa for You award winner. Nana Hagan, you're looking very relaxed this evening, and you're here to talk about Black women's health and how people should speak up now.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much, Tony. To speak after Esther, it's a bit difficult, but I'll try my best tonight. I'm speaking on the topic women's health, and specifically Black women's health, and why we should speak up and speak now. Speak up and speak now. I mean, I want everybody to say it. Speak up, speak now. Speak up, speak now. Yes, I am a Black woman and a victim as such. As I am speaking to you now, Black women face unique and disproportionate, challenges within, the healthcare. And it will shock you also to know that Black women in today's Britain face nearly 4 times more likely to die during pregnancy, childbirth. And even, I think after a year, more than our white women, which is equating around 34 Black women per 100,000, maternities, compared to about 7, also 7 per 100,000, white women. And I'm a victim, and so I need to speak up and speak now. After going through a severe health, challenge that could have been solved within a matter of a year, took about 15 years of my life. A life in misery, a life in pain, and a life that I felt I was used as a guinea pig. And in the end, I lost a vital organ of my body. I lost my womb through hysterectomy at a very early age that made me go into menopause. I mean straight after the operation. And then there are times that I ask myself, was I even given the choice to decide whether I wanted to have this oppression, even though I signed for it. But given the history, I think I was robbed of this vital organ in my body. You know, there are days I see women with 3, 4 children, and my heart just, sometimes I do cry. Sometimes I ask myself, questions. Couldn't I have had maybe a little boy or even more girls? But no, I can't. I can't. And I know this is the story of many Black women out there. And another staggering fact that studies have also shown is that nearly 50% of medical trainees once believed that Black patients had a higher pain tolerance than white patients. This is false. This is dangerous. And a racist myth that still influences Black women. And this myths has entered clinical, settings today. And the point is, pain is pain. Pain hasn't got, got a color attached to it, hasn't got a face, hasn't got a race. Pain is pain. And as if this is not enough, this has also, entered into medical trainings, medical journals, and is having lasting impact on how care is being delivered. This painful history continues to shape the present. Black women are more prone to, health challenges like fibroids, cardiovascular, issues, sickle cell, and I mean, you name it, is documented. But, the fact that these are documented, still, there isn't enough concerns. These concerns are either dismissed or not taken seriously. I'm here tonight to make a bold, declaration, and also to advocate on behalf of many Black women out there that they feel their voices have been silenced. They feel that their bodies are being used as an experiment. You are not alone. You are not alone. And we dismiss, postpartum care also for Black women. And I was shocked to find out that many Black women lose their babies during this, period. And many Black women also die because they are misunderstood. And so what can we do? And if the likes, or if the like of Serena Williams, who is one of the world-renowned tennis legend, with all her resources, that can afford the best medical team in the world, can afford the best private medical care, with her stature, with her visibility, with her, I mean, everything that we can think about, Serena. If her story, by sharing her frightening story, it shows that Black women, irrespective of your stature, your status, your visibility, you are not exempted. You are not excused. You can be affected. And so if such a person with this visibility struggles to even have her voice heard, now the question is, imagine the experiences of everyday Black women who don't have such a platform. This is not just a fiction. We are talking about systemic neglect. Tonight, why is it so important to speak out as Black women? Because, for years we've been silent. And this silence, is creating these disparities that, I've spoken about. And so speaking out against this, these myths demands accountability. Not only that, we also, we are demanding equity. Equity that should be, in research books that can, put our medical professionals also, in check as well. We are also, speaking about equal medical delivery for Black women. We are speaking out tonight, and for the likes of Leonie, Jabu, Esther, and also to my fellow, allies. Tonight, our voice, our health matters. We need you all to advocate, especially our, white sisters. We need you to advocate alongside us, to question the system in place in order to have a better care, delivery for all women. Together, we can dismantle the barriers that has harmed generations, that has taken, the lives of our mothers, our aunties, our, nieces needlessly, so that we can create a future which all women around the world can receive care, dignity, and respect that we all deserve. I'm not asking too much tonight. I just want to say that by speaking up, we can bring a massive change. But actually being I want you to be that change. By speaking up, and we are going to speak now. And I'm going to leave this here with you. To my Black sisters, before you visit your family doctors, do your own research. You understand your body more than any, more than any physician. So don't go to the consulting rooms naive. Do your research. Understand your body. And then when you go to the consulting room, understand that this is a patient-doctor relationship, not the other way around. So tonight, I want every woman out there, especially Black women, to speak up and to speak now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nana. I think I'm blown away this evening, and I don't even have to ask you how you're feeling because everything came from the heart. And it's amazing. It's amazing. You've made us so proud tonight. Before we wrap up, can you just tell our listeners around the world just a bit about yourself and how they can connect with you, with the services you provide as well?
Oh, yeah, my name is Nana Abuna Hagan, and simply Nana Hagan. Sorry, I'm just trying to process, everything because it's like I'm just having these flashbacks, and just bear with me.
Take it. Proud of you. Or would you like us to come back to you like a bit later? That's fine. I'm very, very proud of you. Please give her a hand of applause. Okay, that was Nana Hagan. We're going to bring on now our final guest speaker for the evening, who has been supporting us all the way. He's based all the way in London, born in Bradford, been in education for the last 40 years. And he's a retired school master as well. And he's written amazing books also, you know, and he keeps on, well, he's been a great supporter of myself too. So Anthony, amazing to have you this evening. You're always looking relaxed and nice to see you. And I think you're talking today about beyond the script.
Absolutely.
For authentic voice.
Absolutely.
In public speaking, and you're also a voice coach. So the floor is yours. And before you speak, can you just sum up this evening with all our guest speakers, student speakers? I know you're good at summarizing things, and that's why we brought you in last. And I know one of the events I had at the House of Parliament, you came in to summarize all the key speakers that evening. So first of all, what are your thoughts on tonight, our guest speakers and our debut speakers?
Okay, first of all, Tony, you just spoilt my speech, because my speech is also a summary of the speakers tonight. So what I've done is my speech is really prepared, but what I've also done is I've listened to all the voices of everybody else, and I've kind of intertwined those voices into my speech, because actually they've done what I was going to talk about today. So I'm going to use my speech as part of that summary, and also at the end of my speech, I've got some very fine words to say about every single last speaker that spoke today. How's that sound for you, Tony?
Beautiful.
Okay. I'm conscious of the time, and a little secret, I rang Tony up and said, 8 minutes? 8 minutes, Tony?
No, I'll let you flow. I'll let you flow this evening, you know.
No, I'm going to leave it. Actually, it's actually less than 8 minutes. So I've done well to refine it less than 8 minutes. So let's make a start. It is now 20:11, and I think we've been sitting here since 7 o'clock today. So let's me close today with my speech, and I'll do my thanks at the end. So first of all, hello everybody, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for sitting and listening to these authentic voices today. And my speech is about authentic voices. So look, I want you to think for a while about the most memorable speech you've ever heard. Now, I bet it wasn't the one delivered flawlessly without a single hesitation. I can imagine it was that speech that was real and authentic. It was that speech where you felt a genuine connection to the person that was speaking. Now, it could have been a conference, it could have been a meeting, a staff meeting, but it was just so genuine, you was encapsulated by what was said. As Tony said, my name is Anthony Lane Peltier. For many years, I've been working around strength-based practice, neurodiversity. And my approach to all the work I do now is around starting from the strongest points of everybody to excel the areas that they feel they need to develop. So what is neurodiversity then? I'm going to kind of summarize that really, really quickly. You know, some people are fully aware of neurodiversity and some are not. So let me just give you a kind of a quick overview of neurodiversity. This means that everybody's brain works in its own special way. It's like having a different kind of superhero spinning around in your head. Some people's brains are super fast at solving puzzles. My son's very good at puzzles. He's now 26 and he's got a first class honours in mathematics. He's a puzzle brain. Others are amazing at noticing tiny details. I know somebody who knows all my tiny details and they see them quite easily. Now, some might find loud sounds tricky and others might need help with reading. Dyslexia is part of that neurodiversity trait. And some love to have routines and some think in pictures instead of words. All this is about neurodiversity. It's all about difference because all our brains are wired differently. Now, I've seen countless times when we're at our best, when we're ourselves, we are our best. Inayah, Farhana, Faisal, Nana, Leonie, Jabu, Abu, and Esther. Tonight, you were all yourselves. And because of being yourselves, your delivery was authentic. It felt encapsulating. People were just locked into your words. Now, I was going to talk to you about some simple truths and how you can transform your speaking, but actually I don't need to do that anymore, because what we've done is you've displayed, you've already got those skills. But I do want it to be a little bit of a history lesson because I'm a teacher at heart. There's a little history lesson. In 1928, a term called BBC English first appeared. This is a way to describe a standardized form of British pronunciation devised by the BBC. It's called RP, Received Pronunciation. Do you remember Trevor McDonald? Or later Henry called him Trevor McDonald? He had that BBC English voice. Now, it wasn't until the late 1990s and the 2000s onwards that you actually see a person with a Yorkshire accent reading the news on the BBC. Before that, every single BBC presenter sounded like somebody from a posh part of London. This wasn't an authentic voice. This was a voice that was created to serve a purpose, a belief. We've all been taught just the rules about public speaking. Yeah, make eye contact, stand up straight, don't use filler words, and stick to a flawless script. But for many of us, especially the neurodivergent people like myself, these rules can feel like a performance because we spend so much energy trying to be the perfect speaker that we forget to be ourselves. We lose our passion and our humanity in the words that we're getting across. Listen, the truth is, your authentic voice is far more powerful than any perfect script. As you can see from behind me, I'm a musician. I play the piano, I play the guitar, I play the drums. And I actually think I sound like Luther Vandross when I sing, but I actually don't. But the point I'm trying to make is I don't read sheet music. I play from the heart. I play from feeling and instinct. Just like another amazing jazz musician, Louis Armstrong. He couldn't read one sight of music, but yet still, when he played his trumpet and he sang, he caught the imagination and the emotion from everyone that listened to him because he played authentically from inside him. This is where my neurodiversity model becomes so important, because neurodiversity teaches us that difference in our brain function is just a natural human variation. It's not a weakness. It's not something that's got to be fixed. It's about finding a unique way of thinking and celebrating it. Now, the same applies to communication. A neurodivergent brain might excel at seeing intricate patterns, thinking in systems, or connecting seamlessly ideas from left and right, top and bottom. They're not deficits to be hidden. They are strengths that can make your speech unique and compelling. Your unique perspective is your greatest asset. It's the core of your philosophy. Identifying and using those innate strengths for personal and professional success is what makes your voice sound unique, authentic, and real. Now I'm going to tell you how you find and use those authentic voices, but actually, you've actually displayed that. You've displayed some of the simple things you can do, like mind maps. Now, some of you may have used mind maps. So you've mapped out what you want to say because you don't want that to get into the scripts get in the way of what you want to say, because you tend to read and that you forget where you're going. But if you create a mind map, or some people have bullet points in their head, mental maps, this allows you to be spontaneous. So if you haven't tried mind maps or bullet point maps, try them, have them in your head and use them to kind of guide your speech. And imagine you're talking to a friend and not reading a script. Second thing I always say to people, focus on the message, but not the method. So before you talk before your senior leadership team or in a conference, ask yourself, what do I want my audience to feel or understand? If your entire focus is getting it right, that right message across, you'll naturally be more authentic. Your passion will drive delivery, not as a set of rigid rules, but as an authentic conversation with your audience. Now to conclude, The training you've completed is about more than just standing on stage or standing in front of SLT or standing in front of anybody in a small room in Bradford Library. It's about understanding that your purpose is linked to your unique voice. So as you move forward in your speaking careers, I want you to think about this. Look beyond the perfect script. Trust in your unique mind. Embrace your strengths and let the genuine conversation begin. Today, we heard amazing people say amazing things authentically. Inayah, Faisal, Farhana, Jabu, Appa, Leonie, Nana, and Esther. Thank you. Today, I sat here. If you notice that you might have seen a little head down the bottom because I was sitting on my chair, which is behind me. I'm actually standing up on my, I've got one of those electric tables that go up and down. I'm actually standing up on my table talking to you now. But I sat and listened to every single speech and I was moved right until the end. And Tony, I don't know if you purposely arranged the speakers in the way you did, but every speaker complimented every single speaker. I think it was flawlessly put together and it was an absolutely amazing celebration of the achievements of so many. So all you guest speakers today, I thank you, all of you. All the people that Tony refers to as special people, we're not special, we've just been old, we're old and been doing this for a long time. All of the other speakers that came in and shared their craft, thank you. Tony and Dr. Hill, thank you. Thank you for putting this together and putting this kind of personal, professional, purpose-driven speaking on the platform, a platform for others to share. I've enjoyed myself immensely this evening, and I hope you've enjoyed my little bit of nothing new because you've done it all today. But thank you very much. And Tony and Dr. Fahim, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for always being a great support behind the scene from time to time, year to year. But before you go away, can you just, before I bring in Dr. Sohail, can you just tell all our listeners today a bit about yourself, your background and how people can reach you and the services you provide, and then finally your latest books as well. And feel free to drop the links as well.
I'm going to be brief though, Tony. I'm really conscious of time. So for those of you who know me, I am an ex-head. I've been in education for many, many years. I am 63 this year, 64 next year. So my life has been long. And I wrote some books. I wrote books about autism and neurodiversity. My first book's called Autism: The Superpower. My second book is called the Dynamic Development Plan. That's a book for practitioners to change their attitude, how they work with people with diversity. And my third and final book for this set of series is around the workplace, how workplaces embrace neurodiversity. So that book is being released mid-September. I'm on LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn profile is NeuroLearn, and it's a picture of a brain in 2 different colors. And NeuroLearn is my training platform where my voice coaching is on there, but I've also delivered courses. And I've got many, many free courses around AI. I've got free courses around food hygiene. I've got some paid courses as well. And I've got a new program. It's called NeuroCoach. It's a level 5 coaching program. It's a fully accredited program. And the idea behind that is people train to be coaches to support neurodivergent people. And guess who's paying people to do that? The DWP. The DWP are funding the Access to Work program, which allows neurocoaches to work with neurodivergent people in the community. Neurocoach is a very new concept, just like life coaching was at one point. So I wrote the NeuroCoach program, and I'm delivering that program as well. So if you want to be a neurocoach, just visit neurolearn.online, neurolearn, or one word, .online, and you'll see our courses on there. And you can also drop an email if you've got any questions. That's it, Tony. And I'm on LinkedIn, NeuroLearn.
Thank you so much. Proud of you always. Wrapping up now, and in case you want to connect with anyone this evening, in case you haven't been using the chat, feel free to contact me and I'll connect you as well. So finally, just to wrap up this evening, as we started, Dr. Sohail Ahmed, just to say a few words on this great legacy. And to all our students tonight, we're so proud of you. Really, really, really proud of you. I've always said to you a few weeks ago, always stay connected. The journey continues. To our amazing guest speakers this evening. Always proud of you as well, and I'm sure we'll continue to connect with you. We love you all. It's been amazing. And I hand you over now to Dr. Sohail Ahmed.
Thank you, Tony. Farhana, you've got your hand up. Do you want to say something?
Yes. I think that's sorry. I was just overwhelmed with with emotions, so I couldn't just tell the audience, how they can contact me. So anyone actually wanting to know more about me, I'm on Facebook. I'm just look for the Inside View with Nana Hagan, or my full name Nana Hagan. Yes, you can follow everything that I do in the community. Yeah, so far. And I sincerely apologize, for showing my vulnerability and raw emotions, but I hope I'm pardoned. Yeah, tonight. Yeah, thank you.
We like your voice, Tony, but you're on silent. We can't hear you on mute, Tony.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nana, and don't apologize. You haven't showed your vulnerability, you've showed your strength tonight, and I'm sure you've made a very profound impact, as you always do. So proud of you. Dr. Sohail Ahmed.
Yes, thank you very much, Nana. I really enjoyed and connected with your speech because of the topic. It's a very personal topic for me, empowering women from ethnic minorities, giving them a voice, especially in health. It's a subject very close to my heart, and I'm very grateful for you to share it with such vulnerability. I would love to take credit. Me and Tony would love to take credit for this evening and all the wonderful speeches, but truly we cannot take any credit because we said from the first session that all of you were naturally gifted speakers and all of you had a passion, a purpose, and you were all on a mission. We saw that from the first session, and today you've shown that. And truly, I'm speechless. For a public speaking program, that shouldn't happen. But truly, I'm taken away. It was beyond my expectations what we've seen today, and the feeling of humility. And I feel so humbled that myself and Tony, we sit regularly, and we Tony is a brother, is a friend, is a mentor to me. And he's one of the very rare gems that you see that he fully, with his entire heart, works to empower other people and put other people on a platform, which is a rarity in this day and age. It's all about me in this day and age. Everybody wants to be in the limelight and talk about themselves and, promote themselves. And Tony here is one of those gems that he creates platforms, he creates avenues and opportunities to raise other people. It's such a gift, and he's inspired me, and he's really taught me so many things in this sector. And we were sat together a few months ago, and I said, look, I really want to do something to give people that platform to speak their stories. I listen to stories every day. I have so many of you here, my friends, and I know the stories that you have to tell. And I said, it's something I want to do, let's do it. And we went ahead and decided to do it. And Anthony, dear Anthony here, our friend, brother, mentor, he was the first to raise his hand as always. Whenever we throw an idea into the waters, he's there. And he was there at the first event we did in Bradford Centennial Library. And he turned up, he did a speech. He came all the way from London to support us. And he's been there all the way through supporting us. So thank you so much. Thank you to all the guests. Thank you to all the attendees. I said this recently in one of our sessions that this is not the beginning, this is the end. This is the end of the beginning and the beginning of a new chapter for all of you. I have no doubt that all of you are now, you have this infection within you of public speaking. No doubt that you probably want to do another speech right now. Maybe not today, but tomorrow. And you're all, in fact, it's like being on a roller coaster. You get off and you think, why did I go on? But the moment you get on, you come off and you think, oh, I won't mind doing that again. And, and you've shown that today. And well done to all of you. We're so proud of this. And I think we should all keep connected. This is a public speaking family. This is a community. This is a movement that we're starting here. You know, it's a global movement because we've had people from all around the world, as you've seen, up and down the UK, Nigeria, other countries in Africa, America, Europe. And this is a movement to empower people. We said at the beginning, you know, we could teach you performance, we can teach you how to script, we can teach you tips and tricks and stand like this and talk like this and don't say this and don't say that. But I said from the beginning, that's not what we're going to do. This is not about tricks and tips, and it's not about performance. This is about passion, authenticity, about mindful speaking, conscious speaking, purpose-driven speaking, speaking with the power to effect change, not here, not there, not here, you know, in your city or your town, but globally. Having the courage to say something that you have inside you and you believe that you can make that change globally. There's nothing stopping us. We have all the tools in this day and age. We are blessed to have the tools. You can open your phone and say something, and anywhere and everywhere in the world will hear that and see that. And we have this. And united, working together, our voices are stronger. There's so many people here today talking about health, well-being, mental health, neurodiversity, business, commerce, you know, accountancy, you know, psychology. So many different topics being discussed. If you relate, if you connect, if you resonate with any of those, connect with us. I've sent the link out already. Join our group, join our movement. We'd love to continue this and carry on doing more events like this and empowering more people and turn this into a movement. So please, please keep up the energy, keep up the momentum. There's some hands up. Any questions, please go ahead before we wrap up. Urfana?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody, and especially the organizers, that you've put an event which is very heartfelt, and you could tell every speaker was talking from their heart, and it was coming so genuine. It was really heart-touching, and every story was inspirational. I would say I really, really enjoyed. It's just like it's gone so long, but it's still there is so much excitement there, and there's so much to learn from each other that we are all sitting here. So thank you, each and every one, and I feel really honored to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you. I know it's been over, 3 hours? You know, I was thinking today, actually reflecting on something, and the thought came to my mind that time is a construct of our minds, the human mind, which is finite. Yet there is no such thing as time. We are infinite, eternal beings, and we are not bound by time. It's only our minds that bound us. So 3 hours is nothing in the grand scheme of our existence and the souls that connected tonight. So well done all, and I am humbled. I am grateful for all of what you've done. You've really empowered us, myself and Tony. You're the stars here that have done this for the past 8 weeks, and it's been an absolute pleasure to spend this time. And there's so much more yet for me to give. To be honest with you, there's so much content that I wanted to share, but I felt that you were already ready to make this jump, and I think we'll continue. In fact, Tony, do you want to talk about the next speeches that all these debut speakers are going to do? They're going to be performing live again in front of an audience of 100 people in Bradford Town Centre. Tony, I'll leave that to you to share. Thank you very much, and good night, everyone.
Okay, so before we finally wrap up, and I talk about our event coming up in October, Mr. Aro Leonard, who's still with us, had to dash away, but he is the only guest speaker who didn't have the opportunity to talk about the services he provides and how you can connect with him. So I'll just let him do that for 2 minutes before I talk about our next initiative. Over to you.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you, everybody, for bearing with me. That's what you get when you travel a lot and you don't know what you meet on the way. So my name is Aro Leonard, you know. So if you go online, you Google my name, Aro Leonard, you see a lot of things, but my organization is Cleverest Center with a K. So wherever you find Cleverest, there are several pages: Cleverest Center, Cleverest Sports, anything Cleverest, you find me. But what I do mainly is I support broadcasters, media people, and communications people. I train a lot of broadcasters, radio, TV, and communications people. We've been doing this for so many years now. This is actually the 26th year of training young broadcasters, especially for free. And I set up radio and TV stations, also development focused. So in Africa currently, there are many issues like Nana mentioned, several other people mentioned, that it takes the right kind of communication to solve those problems, to pass them on. So that is what I do. I do a lot of work on sickle cell, malaria, and all those kind of issues. Tony came on air on one of the stations I support with, and Anthony, came on air with a new area. And these are things that are new. So I try to communicate this issues. I try to train broadcasters how to communicate these issues better so people understand these issues better, and we are able to deal with them and solve them better. So that's what I do. So if you go online, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm everywhere, Aro Leonard, or Cleverest with a K. Just type Cleverest. Any page you see on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it's me. 90% is me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Amazing to have you, as always. So we're going to wrap up now, and the next time you'll get to see our wonderful, wonderful speakers will be on Friday, the 3rd of October at the City Hall in Bradford at 5 p.m., where I'll be organizing the Africa for You Awards for Africans in West Yorkshire, something I've been organizing in Bradford for the last 5 years. And that's going to be their graduation ceremony as well. So you'll have the opportunity once again to listen to their wonderful speeches on Friday, the 3rd of October, but also witness their graduation as well. So that's the next event. That's our next initiative for the year. I also run a podcast, a weekly podcast aimed at promoting the success stories of people from ethnic minorities around the world. So our students, you're always welcome to come on that podcast. I think nearly all our guest speakers have been on that podcast. And we'll just keep in contact with myself and Dr. Sohail. Once again, if there's someone you forgot to connect with this evening, feel free to contact me tonight or any other day. But our students, once again, I'll say I'm very, very proud of you. Only last week, I said to you, live in the moment. When you speak, don't just speak with purpose, but live in the moment and enjoy yourself. And you've made us proud, and we love you, and we love everyone that's attended this evening. And keep shining, and we'll see you all soon. Take care, and God bless.
Just
before you go, Tony, can I just one question? Is the October event going to have a Black History focus? And the reason why I ask that question, because Black History is not about Black people, but talking about Black history, it's about everyone talking about Black history and celebrating Black history. So I'm happy to speak if you'd like to speak, and I will do a Black History speak. Even though as a head teacher, Black History was 12 months of the year for me, it wasn't 1 month. But why not take advantage of this time to raise the issue about Black, Brown, and cultural history?
Yes, it's still, that Black history. And that's why I do it in October as well as House of Parliament. So it will still have that Black history thing. But I, as an individual, I believe in being inclusive. So sometimes for me, it's also an opportunity for people from different backgrounds to learn more about our culture or different parts of our subcultures as well. So whenever we organize initiatives which are African or South Asian, it doesn't matter where, it's about embracing everybody and living through the spirit of community cohesion by understanding and not just geographical, because sometimes when we look at Britain and people say, oh yeah, it's a very multicultural society. But is it a multicultural society in praxis? That's a big question. So the answer is yes to that.
Honey, please, can I say something before we go?
Please do.
Yeah, please, on behalf of all the students present here, I think it would be, not right for us not to say thank you. So on behalf of all the students, we just want to say a big thank you to you and Dr. Sohail for giving us this lifetime experience. If a starter or like a stammerer like me can speak today with no edge whatsoever, I don't know where that went, but it's a skill that I think I'll take with me for the rest of my life. And if Ayana can just throw away her script, Farhana can also speak so passionately. Jabu, the same. Esther, super. Leonie, Faisal, and you've done a fantastic job. And we just want to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nana. We loved you tonight. Any of our other students want to say something before we leave? You don't have to.
She said it. She's echoing our voices. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, ditto to what Nana said. It's been an amazing journey. Yeah, I can't express my gratitude to you, Tony, and Dr. Sohail. We're grateful. And yeah, thank you. It's been
I'm grateful
a
to you.
night as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll keep in touch with each other.
everyone.
A good team, like one family,
Definitely.
Let's keep in touch, everybody. Let's keep in touch. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. It's been memorable, and I think we'll be friends for life.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
See you guys.